Hey, welcome to Mythical Kitchen. We are going on an extended holiday break, so we thought we would give you a lovely holiday gift to remember us by. We got an extra long episode today. It is the Last Meals Marathon. Last Meals is my absolute favorite thing I've ever done in life, except for procure my 4 large adult sons, Ham, Shem, Japheth, and Connor. And we love that you love Last Meals too, and maybe you even love Connor like I do. We ponder existential questions, we eat good food. It's been a really cathartic, awesome series for me, and it's awesome to see how much y'all love it. So please sit back, relax, grab your favorite snack, the one you'd eat right before you die, insofar as it's Doritos 3D jalapeno cheddar. Oh, that's a deep cut reference, Josh. I haven't seen those in 20 years. And please enjoy the show.
Right, I'm Gordon Ramsay, and my last meal would be a full English breakfast, butter chicken, chicken wings, and an In-N-Out burger. Beef Wellington with a delicious Monkey 47 gin and tonic. And then finally, a delicious sticky toffee pudding, deep fried Mars bar for dessert.
Every person has exactly 2 things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today we're joined by world-renowned chef, television icon, recipient of 17 Michelin stars, and YouTube's most controversial grilled cheese maker, Gordon Ramsay. Welcome to the show.
You had to get that one in the end, didn't you?
Listen, you are one of the most successful chefs of all time, one of the most successful people of all time, and you still got punk kids like me taking the piss out of a single grilled cheese you made, and I apologize officially for that.
Yeah, you're like a sort of 7th kid I didn't know I had. Because you just come back and constantly irritate me. Mm-hmm. And rightly so with that grilled cheese. I'm not going to explain the issues, but I was in the arse end of nowhere. I was up against it at the time. And those little moments, would you believe, we do in our downtime. But I will admit it, live for the first time with you personally, it wasn't good enough.
Everybody, that's emotional growth. Can we give it up for Gordon on that?
I'm going to blame Justin Mandel. Justin Mandel was supposed to be our sort of amazing social media, hot producing talent. And man, he said, it looks good. And then when those comments started coming, I'm saying, he said, yeah, dive for cover, hide quickly.
Hey man, sometimes the dish just gotta go out. Also, if I'm your 7th kid, I didn't receive a Christmas present this year, but that's totally fine. We got next year.
It's coming.
All right, we are eating your last meal today. Is that something you've thought about before?
Joe, not really. I'm not a good person to sort of start talking about morbid death. And every time I've gone to see grandparents and uncles and aunts that are on their sort of deathbed, God forbid, this meal's always served through a bloody tube. So. Yeah. I get asked this question multiple times. You're the first person I've actually sat down and spoken about. So I would like to celebrate my last meal a couple of years before I die.
That's a much smarter option.
Just to sort of, have a look at what the party's gonna run like. Who's getting inebriated, who's good, who's bad, who's slagging me off, who's talking well. And also I think when it does finally happen, it's going to be a massive celebration.
I hope I get an invite to that, even though I didn't get one to the Christmas party.
It's coming.
Gordon, for your first course, we have a full English breakfast. We have your own soft scrambled eggs with some fresh white winter truffle, 'tis the season, roasted cherry tomatoes, fried bread, a hash brown or potato rosti as you might call it, back bacon, bangers, blood sausage. Enjoy.
Man, I'm like a pig in shit right now.
You and me both,
honestly, I swear to God.
Just honestly, 2 pigs swimming around in shit.
Man, first of all, my mum would kill me if she saw me putting white truffle on my scrambled eggs. She would kick my ass. Let's get that absolutely clear. I grew up in a council estate. I'm not too sure what the reference is in the US.
I just got like government housing, yeah.
Government housing, and scrambled eggs was a dream. And so this reminiscence right back, to sort of 5-6 years of age, and you just woke up with the smell of bacon. Mum would bake bread. The thought of, $250 a kilo white truffles on my scrambled egg, man, she would kick my ass. So I'm going to tuck in.
Your mom ain't here right now. It's just us, man.
Yeah, delicious. Thank you. That looks good. This is the Scottish diet, by the way. Okay? This is something that every time I go home to Scotland, I always get into a greasy spoon little cafe. And it's a sort of happy and a sad ending because it takes me back. But the last breakfast I had in Scotland was with my father. And it was sadly the last time before he died. Wow. But we just sat there eating an amazing full English breakfast.
You grew up in council estates, you grew up desperately poor. Your dad, for a large part of your life, was abusive and a deadbeat, and your mom tried her best to provide. You seem like you found salvation through sports, through football. What lessons about mental toughness did you learn from that you took into the cooking world?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that level of resilience, when you just don't have a choice to go back, you need to go forward. So that additional drive is self-motivating. You dig deep and find gears that you felt you never had. I had the added pressure of having a younger brother, 15 months apart, that was sadly getting into drugs. So that was a moment that I was reflecting, here's the flip side of this.
Yeah.
If you don't get your shit together, you could be like your father and turn out like your kid brother. So you take that negativity and you use that area, a moment in your life to springboard, to get the hell out of there. And that sport connect, driving the team, captaining the team, being super on it, self-motivated, really plays well, especially when you're running a business.
No, absolutely.
You've got to establish a leader. And I've always been a firm believer in dusting yourself down. So what is it? What's the problem? And come back to me with a solution.
One of the chefs that really took me under his wing, Chris Morningstar, I hope you're watching this, buddy, but he refused to hire kids from culinary school, only hired athletes. I mean, his CDC was a fullback at UCLA. His sous chef, now Food and Wine Best New Chef, was a softball player, because he was like, athletes understand hierarchy, they understand what it means to be uncomfortable, and they understand how to get through those situations with solutions.
Today, you fast track, 25 years later, just the power of a chef today, both male and female, they are built like athletes, marketing tools, peak of their game, physical fitness. And I think chefs down the line will end up being like sports players. They'll be traded, they'll be bought, they'll be signed, because that's the way it's going, and that's what they deserve.
No, absolutely. I want to talk real quick about your brother. You mentioned that he was younger than you, ended up being a heroin addict, living on the streets. You and him obviously grew up in roughly the same environment.
Yeah.
Do you think it's nature, nurture, pure spirit of will that you ended up a titan of industry and he ended up on the streets?
Combination of both.
Yeah.
I think when you favor a child within a family, he was my father's blue-eyed boy. And then when that letdown takes place, the ramification on his shoulders was devastating. So Dad and him fell out. He tried to get into the army. He got caught stealing. So he never progressed into those first rounds of that training. I think when you favor someone, and I always get asked, you got 6 kids, who's your favorite? It depends who I'm with. Because we have our moments across that 12-month period where we get quality time together, one-on-one. But you should never single one out in a large family and saying, that's my favorite, because it could come back to bite you on the ass.
Where do I rank in terms of your favorite children?
You right now have just put one foot on the ladder because the truffles in the scrambled egg. This is delicious, by the way. Seriously.
Thank you. I was going to say, don't critique our food like you did with the hot ones wings, man. You tore them apart.
Those wings were shit. And that was like sucking on my granddad's toenails. They were that bad. Sean knew they were bad. Okay, and when you got a sauce like that and masking that dried chicken, I said next time round, I'll supply the wings.
Well, hey, speaking of wings, we got course number 2 coming up. All right, Gordon, for course number 2, we have butter chicken, we have garlic naan, we have basmati rice, we also have an In-N-Out double-double animal style, of course, and then we have some buffalo chicken wings. These have been wet brined overnight, a light flour dust, and then fried at 375 till crispy and juicy and way better than hot ones.
Bloody amazing. I mean, seriously, honestly, this is just a heaven. I mean, even though I didn't want to talk about my sort of funeral, now you've given me an idea of a perfect menu, but I want to be there, as opposed to being laid in a box that I can't talk to anyone. So that's why we should do a rehearsal a year before.
I kind of feel like you're never gonna die, though. I feel like you've been training your whole life to just one day meet death and tell him to go himself.
I've been close, you know.
Yeah?
That? Yeah, we've been knocking on death's door a few times. I get a little bit narky with the shiny floor stuff. I got to get back to the reality of how I started and those firm reminders of what it's like being back at the coalface. So I need to go off piste. Yeah. And jumping out of a helicopter in the middle of the Amazon, Guyana, rappelling down a waterfall of 300 foot, and out hunting giant caiman at night to eat and sauce, and diving with great white sharks. There's always that moment that I just love that moment, but you do have that shit moment as well at the same time. God, this could have gone so horribly wrong.
Hey, it's a memento mori. Remind yourself of death. Remind yourself of life. Please dig in. Yeah. I'll eat wherever you eat.
I'm going to start with the burger because these guys are incredible. Mm-hmm. The fact that everything's sourced locally, they stay within California. It's a perfect drive-through. You don't get any hassle. Mm-hmm. I bring the window down. I give them a little $100 bill as a big thank you, and I pick up my double-double. heaven.
Truly, it's the best burger. I grew up eating this.
Oh God. Bloody hell.
I mean, this is like delivered to set. I mean, this is obviously 20 minutes, half an hour old, but like it's still so good.
It's amazing. And also, I took them as an inspiration. When I opened my first burger store in Vegas, everyone said, "You'll never work. You'll never work." And so, how do we come up with the difference? How do we stand out from the crowd? So, I used the banquet suite downstairs for about 9 months. I had all these little miniature barbecues. I started doing the blend with the chuck and rib. And then the secret and the turning point for me is when I started basting these burgers in Devonshire butter. And our Devonshire cows are full of fat, and the grass and what they graze is just incredible.
Is it that dark yellow butter?
Yeah, really. But when it caramelizes, Josh, over those coals, the flavor was just like this perfect bon noisette. And that was what set our burgers apart in Vegas. And so still to this day, they're brushed with this beautiful Devonshire butter. Yeah, incredible.
In and out, they're brushing these with mustard on the animal style.
God, that's so good.
Tell me about the fish head curry that you ate with the Indian dishwashers in your first restaurant job when you were a teen.
That got me to where I am today. And those moments in life when I'm sat with a bunch of amazing Pakistani men that were incredible kitchen porters. Night chef failed to turn up. I was last in, so I was first to be called. I was absolutely screwed. 3:30 in the morning, I was just coming to like the sort of 21st hour, 4 hours to go, set all the trays up for breakfast. And the two guys, grabbed me by the t-shirt and said, "Hey, you've got to come and eat." I said, "No, I can't eat this time in the morning. I could smell this amazing curry coming from the South Canteen." Went in there, lights were down. There was water in plastic beakers in these bright orange cups. And then they just handed me this incredible salmon head fish curry. I kid you not, it was a turning point because I just could not believe I'm cooking in this 5-star hotel. The food is shit. And now with these kitchen porters, they've just given me one of the most flavoursome curries. There was that moment. I was respectful, then wanted to start working more nights after that. But when I left that shift, I'd picked up a catering magazine, one of our trade mags, and on the cover was Mark Pierre White. And still to this day, every time someone mentions curry, and even to understand how to make one properly, I had a respect for the guys that really took care of me. I went to India. And whilst we were filming it for the TV, but the real reason was to pay respect to those kitchen porters that made that salmon head fish curry. Because that was the break that I never saw coming. And I seized the moment, left at 8 o'clock in the morning, ran over to the train station, jumped on the shuttle, got to Marco about 9:30 and told him that I'd just finished an all-nighter and I want to work for you.
Incredible, man. Well, please dig into our butter chicken curry a la Burbank.
Oh my God, amazing. And the secret about this is the butter chicken is the tomato gravy. It's fragrant, it's got a nice sense of garam masala, and it's not too rich. Oh my God.
I love that you talk about actually learning Indian technique because so many, especially fine dining chefs who have all the Michelin stars, they talk about, I cook Thai flavors with French technique. Everything ends in with French technique, but to me, Indian technique, making the tadka, like scorching the spices with the hot oil, it's so unique and so endemic to why the cuisine's so good.
Yeah, but also there's part medicinal in terms of how they grew up. After coming out of Rajasthan, I went down to Kerala and I spent 10 days in an ashram, and I thought I understood vegetarian cuisine, but oh my God, the local villages sent their kids to schooling there. And so the discipline with these 8, 9, 10-year-old kids and the way they were cooking was incredible. That's what I need to do, Josh. And even though everyone thinks, you're at the top, why are you doing this? No, I need to continue adding chapters and I can't let go, especially the learning technique. So there's something quite nice about being schooled, but also you have to have the humility to be downbeaten because it's easy at the top.
Do you think you're sort of, eat a chicken wing. I'll ask uncomfortable questions later. Do you think you're sort of addicted to being downbeaten in that way? Because I mean, you grew up, sports tends to be a pretty abusive world. Kitchens tend to be a pretty abusive world, I guess, depending on your definition of motivation versus abuse. But you had a line in your book, Humble Pie, 2007, that said, with my dad, the abuse had no point, but with Marco Pierre White, the more he screwed you, the better you became. To you, what's the difference between motivation and abuse in that way?
Yeah, it really depends on how you are and how you perceive that individually. I think there's always something incredibly positive to come out of something wrong. And so being on my ass in life and having that sort of daunting, thought, shit, can I get out of this council estate? Can I get away from my dad? Can I better my life? Can I make a better life for my family one day? I didn't even think about it because right then you're selfish, you're focused, and so you're driven. And so whether you're on a basketball court playing for the Lakers or in a Super Bowl or in a top flight kitchen, the price to pay for that knowledge is ruthless. And the training ground before you get to those big moments is horrific. And so you have to be prepared to take the consequences. And with Marco, I took the consequences. But I never complained about that. And all that bullshit about he made me cry, we still laugh about it now in terms of, and I told him on many occasions, Marco, stop dining out on that one. And people ask, what was he really like? The guy was a genius. The guy was an absolute freaking genius. 19 years of age when I stood by his side. And so
he was only, what, 25, 26 at that time?
6 years older than me, 25.
God, that's like a horse walking a dog. It's incredible.
Crazy. They are delicious.
Thank you. You've also said that the restaurant industry has lost too many chefs to addiction, suicide, depression. Those are all things that are called diseases of despair. And one of your chefs, David Dempsey, also suffered that fate. What is it about restaurants that uniquely foster those problems? And also, how do we fix it?
Yeah, God, that's a tough question. First of all, you're never going to fix that overnight.
Sure.
I think the frustrating part is a bit like sport. Everyone thinks it's a cool image and it's a rock and roll image, but it's not. It's a trained, mentally, physically adapted, mindset. And so those that can't get there think that some controlled substance will help you get there. If you turned around and said to me the night, we had dinner at Harvey Nichols, the night he died, I'd never believed you, because this guy was just so hyped and energetic and excited. And I started to realize, that he had issues, but nowhere near of that magnitude. And so it's not a rock and roll lifestyle. It's a complete controlled, disciplined environment. And we spoke earlier about the discipline of chefs today. It's on par with athletes. And so a lot of individuals think that you need that substance because it's rock and roll to stay at that level. It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And that's the downside to the industry, because when they're not making it, and they get depressed and they get mentally scarred because they haven't achieved what they set out to. No one's managing their expectations.
Yeah.
And so you can't dream of playing in the Premier League unless you're good enough to be in there. It's the same as cooking. You can't dream of cooking at 3-star unless you're cut out for that. And I think the sad thing is there's no fast track. You don't get catapulted overnight. There's no such thing in any success. And so it's rife in the industry, and that's what led me to make that documentary and going to Honduras, Colombia, and then making that shit and 3-star Michelin cocaine was just a real eye-opener and scary. I mean, literally, because it was petrifying to how easy we made it and to how quick we got it, and then to see 37.5 tons of it entering the UK.
Unreal.
And I lose a chef because he's taking a couple of grams after we had dinner. Mortifying.
It was interesting. You said that one of the reasons people get depressed in kitchens and turn to substances like that is because simply they haven't made it, they haven't achieved. Do you have any regrets with the way that you have acted, say going back to the Boiling Point documentary, about the way that you've acted in high pressure situations?
No, not at all. No regrets. Have I handled kitchens completely different? Yeah, of course I have. I got trained like that.
Yeah.
So certainly not playing the victim. Didn't know any better.
Of course.
Certainly couldn't never run a business. But boy, could I cook my ass off. And the biggest thing I ever did when I won my 3rd Michelin star was I stood back, reflect, review, divide and conquer, hand the reins over. You look at people like Alain Ducasse and sadly the late Joe Robuchon. They've got 4 3-star restaurants. They haven't been anywhere near them for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I go back to those days in Robuchon's kitchen, and I thought Marco was tough. This guy was an absolute nutbag. And if it wasn't copper pans, it was plates. And the kitchen was a bit like this. We were all behind this line. There was 12 of us stuck behind there. And then opposite the hot plate, it was this toilet. And I was bursting for a pee about 9:30. I hadn't sent the last table. And there was a key on the pass. And so I grabbed the key, ran into the toilet and came out. And I got absolutely pummeled because it was the toilet for Michel Robuchon and no staff were allowed to piss in there. And so I didn't quite believe how sort of weird that was, that the cooks need to pee, but we had to go outside down the hallway. I thought I was just being super quick, but man, I got the biggest bollock in my entire life. And so at the time, you didn't think much of it, but it's not till you reflect later on in life, you think, geez, Jesus Christ, I'm getting screamed at because I pissed in his toilet. You know, I didn't shit on the side and not wipe my ass. I left him toilet paper, sprayed the aerosol can, and so I did everything right. But yeah, and so are those kitchens changing dramatically? Is it the same in every 3-star? They're all different.
Yeah.
And they have different ways of getting the best out of you.
You know, from Marco to you, down to people like Claire Smith. Hopefully with each successive generation, it gets easier for those below you.
But I mean, studying the sort of methods of the CIA and just how these culinary schools work over here is depressing. Because these kids go into these culinary schools, they get sandbagged with 50, 60, sometimes $150,000, $200,000 loans. They come out after 2 or 3 years. They can't take a job that they want to learn.
Yeah.
They have to take a job to pay and rid the debts. And so their career is sandbagged. And that's frustrating. So we have to turn that on its head. And these kids should be coming out of that 3, 6 month, 9 training schemes into businesses for their career, not to downgrade their loans, because it's detrimental. It's counterintuitive to the future of the industry.
I mean, for as many people as complain about your rough edges on TV, yelling at, you know, bullshit restaurant owners, you seem like you care so deeply about, one, the people in the industry succeeding, and then 2, the industry as a whole, and I deeply admire that.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because Kitchen Nightmares is a tough love scenario, and I'm screwed either way. When they're successful and you relaunch, you don't get praise. When they close and fail, you get blamed.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, they asked me in. And behind me, I've never ignored it, but I've got an amazing culinary team. There's a great art team. There's shit-hot producers that really know their stuff. And we've done our homework before we get there. I get in there, I have to eat shit food. I'm telling them truthfully, and they're looking at me like they're a bit, wow, how can you be so rude? No, that's not rude. I'm being honest with you. Get your shit together.
And you can't save everyone.
I try so hard.
Yeah.
I literally try so hard. I've been accused of carrying mice in my pocket, to sticking a mouse in.
That's what that was? I thought you were just happy to see me.
No. But and then all sorts accused of, you know, fire alarms being set. I mean, the shit we get from that show. I walk away and I'm like, get the Pepto-Bismol out. Start working on the stomach ulcers quickly.
Ready for course number 3?
There's more food.
Oh, there's so much more.
Jesus Christ! This is not a funeral. This is a feast.
Gordon, for course number 3, we have your beef Wellington. We cooked it exactly to your specifications. We have a tenderloin cooked to medium rare, surrounded by mushroom duxelle, wrapped in prosciutto, wrapped in a chive crepe, and then wrapped in glazed puff pastry, a little bit of flake salt and thyme on top, and of course a red wine demi on the side. Then we have your Monkey 47 gin and tonic made with Mediterranean tonic water and a fresh lime wheel.
Mate, it looks majestic.
Thank you so
I mean,
much.
honestly, this thing lost its way back in the 90s. And so when we first opened Claridge's, early 2000, I wanted to sort of be a little bit more sort of disruptive with the retro. And I'm fed up with that old fart mentality that nothing should change. Our job was to change it. And so this thing imploded. I remember the general manager turning around saying, you got a £21 lunch menu. You're degrading the hotel. It's too cheap. And I said, no, we're filling the hotel. This place is a ghost town. We're filling it. And this was on the menu, and it was absolutely flying out. And now it's a Wellington sensation. I mean, the amount of shit that I get on my phone with Wellingtons, some of them look like my granddad's slippers, some of them look like the inside of my granddad's underpants, but the other ones look beautiful. And this, I can tell you now, looks stunning.
I give all credit to Trevor. Trevor actually did this. I just sat back and watched.
Shall I?
Absolutely, please.
Beautiful. So it's funny because the chef's cut is this cut, the first cut.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the bit with little beef in there. And we can't give that to the customer because that's the bit that's always sandwiched. But we used to save those bits for the end of service. And then just sit there at the end of the evening and eat the Wellington ends. This is beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
Whoever made this, I swear to God, I mean, look at that baby. That is beautiful.
One of my favorite restaurant memories is served a private dinner, and we had about 50 mason jars that were filled with foie gras torchon, and we took it all out, and I was instructed to scrape it all out into a large bowl. Thank you so much. And then we just took leftover biscuits, and we sat there drinking the dregs of bottles of wine and swiping biscuits and foie gras torchon.
See.
And
oh my God, we used to do a beautiful foie gras sauce with chicken wings, and then for our dinner at Harvey's with Marco, we used to eat the dregs of the sauce and the chicken wings, and that's why from an age of 19 I love chicken wings. And then this looks beautiful.
dig in.
Oh my goodness,
A
thank
little bit
you.
of red wine demi on the side, of course.
Amazing. Beef cooked beautifully. It's funny, I remember getting my mum up to the launch at the restaurant at Claridge's, and I made one of these for her, and she sent it back. I'm sat there in the kitchen, and there's like 45 chefs, and Mrs. Ramsay, table one. I said, what? What do you mean? It's like, she's joking? She's taking the piss? She said, no, she wants it more cooked. I'm like, for fuck's sake. I don't want beef with blood in it, Gordon. I need beef with flavour. I'm like, Mum, you can't overcook a Wellington. She said, well, then don't serve it to me. I'm like, oh my God.
Michelin critics got nothing on Mrs. Ramsay, damn.
Honestly, no. And she was staying, they very kindly put her up in the penthouse suite, and she got into the suite, and the butler was knocking on the door and said, Mrs. Ramsay, can I run your bath? And she said, certainly not, I can run my own. And so she had no idea that we're trying to look after her, but that's what mums are like, right?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the working class roots, man, you can tell it in your blood.
This is delicious. Seasoned beautifully. Oh my God. Man.
I took too big of a bite.
Cheers, man. Monkey 47. There's a gin called Gordon's that I'm not a big fan of. And so I went on that gin trail, and 47 has got the sort of tannins and the spice, and it's just an amazing way to sit and enjoy a gin and tonic. I want people to get absolutely paralytic at my funeral. I want to make sure there's cars for them all, SUVs to take them home. I don't want anyone catching the bus or the train, and I want them carried out of my funeral wake.
Gordon, that is one thing that I can absolutely guarantee you I will bring to your funeral. I will bring the paralytic drunkenness. I once showed up to a Hanukkah party with a beer bong and 6 bottles of Manischewitz, and they were gone, and that funnel was stained purple. Believe me, you.
I don't think of dying. I'm 57, I've just turned 57. I feel better, stronger than I did at 37.
But surely it's gonna come for you one day.
I mean, not in the near distant future, Josh. Do you know something I don't?
No, I know that we all struggle with mortality, and I know that some people really bury themselves in work, and they bury themselves in the shit, the pain, the suffering to distract themselves from death. I'm not saying you've been doing that.
No, I find the balance. I find the balance. My escape is either doing triathlons and half marathons, Ironman, and then the guilty pleasure is diving, because then you are 30, 40 meters under. You've got great visibility, and you're answering to nobody. And it's the best feeling in the world. You're just hearing your breath, nice and slow, looking at the depth, checking the gauge, and then just looking for the next big shark.
So you never meditate on the idea of death. I mean, you are surrounded by it constantly with the sharks and the narcos and all that. But do you ever actually meditate on the idea of death, on what your legacy is going to be, on what the feeling of nothingness is?
No. Do you have any idea how busy I am, Josh?
I'm saying that's by design, of course.
Yeah, I know, but we find the balance.
Sure.
You have way too much time on your hands, young man.
You're right.
You need to work harder and get some more wrinkles on your face.
Sign me up to work as a commie in one of your restaurants, because I'm sick of thinking about death. I just want to grind at this point.
Listen, we're all going to die somewhere down the line. I'd like it to be a quick, painless death, but we've just extended the family, you including, and so now 2 SUVs going out to dinner and the shops. So I think
I'll call shotgun.
Just finding that balance and eating properly, because chefs have the world's worst eating habits because we graze. And any chef that would tell you that we sit down and eat dinner before we go and cook dinner is absolute bullshit.
Trash raccoons.
Yeah, but just literally trash raccoons.
A trash raccoon. You're a little raccoon roaming around the kitchen, grabbing things with your little claws, eating them over the trash.
They stink, raccoons.
Chefs stink? Are you kidding me?
No, but that's BO. That's after a hard night's sweat, right? So we graze 4 or 5 times a day, tiny bowls. And I'm a firm believer in going into service on your toes, like ballerinas, nimble, on it, fast moving, and tasting everything. Then you perfect.
Yeah.
You'd make a great chef.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, I was choosing between going into the restaurant world and going into the media world, and had it not been for a relationship that I was in at the time, where I decided I wanted comfortability, I would have jumped into the restaurant world. And then I always wondered the alternate reality, what would have happened? What do you think would have happened if you would have been a footballer?
Yeah, I mean, that sadly got taken away from me at an early age. And then, of course, in your early 30s, you're sort of, you're out. The career's done. You've got sort of 10 to 12 years at that level. So you got to make it. But I was more worried about a girl I was seeing at the age of 19 when I just got to London. And she said, I've got you a great job, and it's working for one of the banks, and it's 7 till 3 as the head chef. I'm like, what? Corporate dining, 7 till 3? JJ, you got weekends off and 7 nights a week. Don't be a chef if you want to take that role. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Learn that craft. But I did think, do you sacrifice the relationship that you're in love with this amazing girl for your career? So you sacrifice that moment in a relationship. Otherwise, you could be running a 3-star Michelin restaurant today.
And then all I got is this show. Thanks so much for stopping that.
No, but one more question. But is that, you pinned it on the personal relationship that you couldn't sort of dedicate that time?
Through the lens of that relationship, it was a different person that I thought I wanted to be. I tried to suppress those parts of me that loved being constantly under pressure, that loved the intensity. I tried to convince myself that I was somebody who, no, I should live with balance, and that is not for everybody.
No.
I dropped out of college. I could not, once my sports eligibility was up, I couldn't bring myself to go to class. I tried working a full desk job in 2 hours there, and it is literally physically torturous. My skin crawls. But when I'm working the line, when I'm in a weight room, when I'm doing conditioning, it's the happiest I am. My mind goes blank and I can just move. It's almost like you're in a fugue state. It feels natural.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I absolutely adore pressure.
Yeah.
And whether it's going live, whether it's cooking, an amazing event, or whether it's behind the line at a 3-star Michelin, and you're just, all of a sudden, you're conducting this orchestra of utter perfection. And there's those moments that are sort of captivating, that it doesn't get any better than this. And that sacrifice is all coming into these last 3 or 4 minutes, when it's just all coming onto that plate, and this canvas just takes on a whole new meaning. You need to be absolutely driven and semi-selfish. And that's hard for people to accept. Selfish, because you've got to get from A to B, and then B jumps very quickly to D, F, G, if you get it right.
Gordon, for your final course of the final meal of your life, we have sticky toffee pudding with a perfect vanilla ice cream cannelle on top, a little bit of edible flour, and then the complete opposite, a deep-fried Mars bar served on newspaper, aka fish wrap.
Man, honestly, I want to find out which knobhead put together deep-fried Mars bar. Just when Scotland was breaking through and becoming a sort of pillar in European cuisine, some idiot comes up with the deep-fried Mars bar. Guaranteed they were pissed as a fart. Got home one night, thought they were getting some fish fingers from the bloody fryer. It was frozen Mars bars, and they decided to coat it in some batter and deep-fried it. But this thing blew up in Scotland and became almost like a staple in the Scottish diet.
Unreal. And so you put it on your menu for your last meal out of spite.
Yeah, just to realign the Scottishness in me. But it's a crazy idea, and it's sort of like a Snickers bar. But look at that. I mean, honestly,
that is
wow. No.
Look at that, Gordon. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my man. Cheers. Disgusting. I want to find that little arsehole who put that thing together and give him a kick up the arse, because just when we're breaking through with the beautiful venison, hand-dyed scallops from west coast of Scotland, beautiful Dublin Bay prawns, amazing whiskey, this fucking idiot puts a deep-fried Mars bar together.
Yeah.
So
watch your ass, Gordon's coming for you.
Man. This, however, the sticky toffee pudding, this reminds me of Mum. A prolific, amazing chef. It's funny, isn't it, when you grow up and you watch Mum have 3 jobs and you think, Mum, why are you working so hard? And you're not actually doing the same, because it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
And Christmas Day morning, we wake up, we want to open a couple of presents that we've got, and Mum's not finished work. But this was the one go-to dessert that she always did for our special birthdays. Incredible. And it is incredible. Beautiful.
Yeah, we did a little bit of Scotch in the caramel. I have heard you like to reconnect with your Scottish roots through the fine delicacies, so we put some Scotch in the caramel.
Delicious. I mean, it's just absolute heaven. I think I would like to put this dessert inside that coffin.
The ancient Egyptians used to do that for good luck.
Is that right? There you go.
Talking about your mom making this dish, you now, of course, are raising a very large family of your own. I think you can take a lot of good lessons from bad behaviors. What did you learn from your dad about how not to father?
That dreadful word, when they turn around and say, I told you so. And so That's the condescending, bull you never want to tell your kids. 6 amazing kids, we're incredibly lucky. And all I've taught our children is that, find your passion, find your way. Don't do with fame, fortune, money. They all work. Meg, our eldest, is an amazing police officer. Jack is in the Royal Marines, and so he's, dedicating his life to the Marines. Tilly's at university. Holly's into fashion. Oscar's playing Havoc in the nativity play. He had 2 words to say in his play, and he balls them up because he spotted his mum, and then obviously Jesse's months old. But I always say, the earlier you tell me, the more I can do. And so, unlike my father, I didn't have a close relationship with him. He was always the condescending type. I told you so. Kids want to hear, what have we got? How do we salvage? And what's the comeback? And honestly, that comeback for me has been my life, because that journey upwards has been one of the most exciting journeys, because I still feel like I'm coming back from that moment. And every time I teach these kids a lesson, and we're allowed to make tiny mistakes, but just don't repeat that mistake.
That's beautiful. It's like simultaneously having that empathy, but also that drive to push them. Because if you wanted to, you could have raised, I think there's a British slang, toffee-nosed.
Yeah.
Toffee-nosed little kids.
Yeah, little shits. Yeah. No. It's funny, isn't it, when we used to start traveling and, sitting in amazing business or first class, I'd always say to them, think what you could do with the money when you get there.
Yeah.
We're all getting on together. We're all bloody getting off. And if you think we're paying, $10,000 for a business class ticket because you're a Ramsay, forget it. Turn right. Every time they got their allowance every month, a couple of $100, if they saved that up across the 12-month period, I would match that at Christmas for them. And they've got to stay true to their form by saving every dollar. And so when you start that practice at sort of 10, 11, 12, 13, they got their part-time jobs, all of a sudden their minds are focused about their career paths. And so, that was the opposite the way that I grew up. And so they are super disciplined and they are on it, man.
I'm also curious what you learned about the strength of your family from the death of your unborn son who passed at 20 weeks in the womb.
Yeah, that was awful. That kind of situation was devastating. And it was incredibly moving to see the tightness. And then, any woman having to experience that was just awful. But what it did do, it made us incredibly closer. And so we'd never have Oscar had we not lost, Rocky. And so now with Jesse, and so, there's positivity coming out there. But it's just amazing how you bond. That room, we're closed. It was no interruptions, and we just had that moment together as a family. And those moments are powerful because it unites. And it was a touching moment. And every time someone meets our kids, they always say, my God, I can't believe they're so normal. Yeah, they are beyond normal, humble. And I suppose the only worry I've got is that no one wants to cook for a living. I think I've scared the shit out of them all. So it's like...
Wait, hold on. What if you had another son who, say, just expressed regret about maybe not cooking for a living?
So there you go. But Tilly's sort
Does
of...
your hair go like that?
Tilly's getting there, but they have an amazing appreciation for life and respect. But when they go to the restaurants without us, they are super polite. And I was desperate to realign myself with a family that was the opposite to what I grew up with. And so everything I saw and witnessed, I did the opposite with my family.
Say when death finally does come knocking on your door, know that all 7 of your children stand on their own 2 feet. Gordon, you ready to get in the lightning round?
Yes, what is that lightning round? What is that?
I just like to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah,
It'll go fast. Other than me, who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd share your actual last meal with?
Oh God, that's a tough one. It's got to be my wife.
What song do you want played at your funeral?
It's got to be Adele, Set Fire to the Rain, because that's been my life. It's hot, boisterous, and bloody exciting.
And I'm there, rip shit off gin. Who's the one footballer you wish you could have slide tackled?
I did it once in the back garden on New Year's Eve one night with David. I would say David Beckham.
Love that. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is getting old.
How many Jamie Olivers could you beat in a fight? If you need clarifying answers on that, I can tell you. But how many Jamie Olivers could you beat in a fight?
Oh, I'd give him a 9-round head start and tie both hands behind my back. I'm not worried about him.
What's your greatest regret in life?
My greatest regret in life, not doing a sub 10-hour Ironman.
There's still time.
Mate, there is. There is.
Which Burbank parking lot would you want to wrestle me in? Who wrote that question? Who wrote that question? That wasn't me. You got your choice. Bob's Big Boy, 7-Eleven, Pinocchio's Italian Deli. You choose. I'm there.
I would do it on the count of In-N-Out Burger. Yeah, with a double each side.
Gordon, thank you so much, man. Incredible conversation.
Likewise. Thanks, bud.
Of course, and everybody, make sure to check out Gordon's YouTube channel. Check out this new show, Idiot Sandwich. I'm on there cooking sandwiches with Rhett and Link, and what a hell of a time that was. Before then, Gordon, if you want to say your last words to that camera right there.
My God, my last words. I've eaten so much food, honestly. Right now, I need a big shit.
The man, the chef, the poet, the TV icon, Gordon Ramsay, everybody. Thank you again so much, man. This is incredible.
Good to see you.
Likewise,
Good job.
everybody, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks,
you know
guys, the crew, and really well done, everybody, honestly.
I'm Kelly Rowland, and my last meal would be caviar with potato chips, cheeseburger with french fries, and tacos with a pineapple margarita, A5 Wagyu, and mashed potatoes. Then a peach cobbler, chocolate cake, and chocolate peanut butter pie for dessert.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today we're joined by Grammy Award winner, multi-platinum recording artist, star and producer of Mea Culpa on Netflix, and the only person in history to successfully send a text message via Microsoft Excel. Kelly Rowland, welcome to the show. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Oh my God.
I had to do it.
Do you know how much flack I get from that?
I'm sorry to be one of the people adding to that.
Oh, it's all right. I'm so used to it now.
Do you remember in the Dilemma music video shoot, did anybody address that at the time?
No. And I'm actually mad at them that they didn't, because they made me look nuts for just now's period.
Well, you seemed so mad that he wasn't returning the text, and it was like, well,
what did you expect? Because it's just a draft, my dear.
It turns out that there actually is a way to put a hyperlink to an email underneath an Excel spreadsheet. So now you can tell people that that's exactly what you're doing, and that they just didn't know the tech at the time.
What he said.
If you need a freelance publicist, I'm here. No, but one, thank you so much for being here. I'm incredibly excited.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course. Have you thought about your last meal before?
I think every time someone asks, sometimes it changes, but one thing that stays the same is a cheeseburger, tacos, and what else? Oh, anything with chocolate and peanut butter just makes me so happy.
I love that. I think it was off camera, said, pompous ass about yourself with the A5 Wagyu and the caviar. I'm curious about that, because the cheeseburger and the tacos, like, that's some like good home-cooked food.
Yeah.
But no, you're like fully in your bougie era and you're cool with that.
This particular situation, absolutely.
How often do you think about death?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I'm so busy being content and full of joy with life and watching life in my children's eyes, like starting it all over again and learning about my own and navigating my way through it, to be thinking about the end of it. I just want to enjoy it.
Well, that sounds so reasonable. And that makes me, because most people are like, yeah, I get death anxiety, but like those dark thoughts never come in of like, man, this is all going to end. Like, you're just busy actually enjoying it.
Well, you know what's funny? When I see a snake, that thought comes. Like, I don't like snakes. I always think about that. What if it's poisonous? What if I have so many what ifs in my head? And yeah, with life, I just think about gratitude. And even if I did, I think about, man, what a great life. Like, how blessed I am. Like, I chose wisely on my husband. You know what I mean? And have two beautiful, wonderful boys, and the people who are in my life right now, I value and treasure so greatly, so much. So I just enjoy that, enjoy them, enjoy moments, and I'm grateful for every single one. But when I see a snake, it's definitely, for
Well,
sure.
I am excited to enjoy some of those blessings of your life with you today. You ready to eat?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, Bougie Era Kelly, for your first course, we have the full caviar service with potato chips. We have salmon roe, we have beluga caviar that's coming from the sturgeon, then we have golden ossetra, lovely kettle-cooked potato chips, and then for accoutrement, we have some sieves, egg white and egg yolk, chives, creme fraiche, and diced shallots. Please dig in.
I am so excited.
I'm gonna move the chips closer to you. You were looking at them like, you would have needed them, and
Oh my gosh, the best ones are kettle cooked.
When's the first time you had caviar?
It was a Destiny's Child commercial set, funny enough. It was Michelle Williams' mom who knew about caviar. And so they bring the caviar over. We didn't know what it was, you know, very Southern girls. And we said, no, we don't know what that is. It looks crazy. And next thing I knew, we finished it.
Cheers. I'm gonna do what I do in the club.
Yeah, you gotta dance.
I'm dancing, and I'm here. I'm staying in my lane.
Then you gotta go for another one.
And then I'm gonna let you shine, and then I'm just here. I'm almost keeping the rhythm.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got
This is it. I do want to talk about your new movie that you're starring in and producing, Mea Culpa on Netflix. You play an ambitious lawyer who takes a case with a cagey yet sultry client. This is probably the biggest project you've produced on so far, right?
It is, absolutely. And the interesting thing is taking something like this on, I knew, that it would be such a journey, you know what I mean? And I was so grateful to Tyler, who, when I asked him, he's like, yeah, but he said it like it was no thing. You know what I mean? I was like, but I promise you, I'm gonna be really involved. He said, I know you are. He's like, and I'm off, like, let's go, I support you. I started making decisions and he probably looked at me like, why I let this girl?
You just came in and started swinging. You're like,
I did,
good.
And it was so awesome, and I'm forever so grateful to him for that. But it was fun.
what did you learn about your own ambitions in the film industry from working as a producer with somebody as experienced as Tyler?
It's a lot of work because you're overseeing so many people. You don't look at a film and think it takes so many people to make all of this come to life. You know what I mean? But it's not just the production. It's the distribution, you know what I mean? And all the powers that be behind that, and people who are excited. You want people who are passionate about, what they do, whether that's the director to the person who's gonna push the movie, you know what I mean? Everyone that's involved in the movie making process is so incredibly important.
I just want to say, I feel so guilty asking you questions because then you can't eat while you're directly answering.
it's all right.
I almost want to pretend to look for my phone. Just
No.
be like, what is going on so you can enjoy the caviar?
It's okay.
I'll make the next question longer and rambly so you can get as many chips and caviar as possible.
Okay.
Even if you haven't thought a lot about your own death, I have thought a lot about your death since your on-screen debut. That was way creepier than I intended. I want you to know that. But your on-screen debut, your feature film debut, 2003's Freddy vs. Jason,
Yes.
was the last horror movie that I ever saw in theaters because there is a scene where, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it now, when were you going to get to it?
Sorry.
Where Freddy Krueger rips out your nose.
Yep.
And I was so traumatized by that as an 11-year-old that I never went back. So you
he
saved me a
says,
lot of
"Got
money.
your nose."
Got your nose. Then you eventually get clipped by Jason Voorhees.
Yep.
What do you remember about your first big screen death?
I just remember on that set, it was actually really scary at night. In
Yeah.
real life, in real life scary. I remember it was very cold and sitting there and having to look like it was just my last breath. And I was like, oh, shit, this is happening. It was kind of like that. It was so strange. But I had a really great time on that set. They did scare me though. Everybody just, because they knew I was just on pins and needles. Because Freddie, I remember in my house, my brother wasn't supposed to be watching it, but as a kid. So yeah, all of that trauma just came back to haunt me on that set for sure.
You were watching The Curse of Bridge Hollow with your son Titan, who's 9 now. And he saw you in danger and thought you were going to die on screen.
Yeah.
Tell me about that moment.
He cried.
No.
Mommy, it was. Oh, I'm so sad. I feel so bad about
I didn't
that
mean to
moment.
break. No, this is a happy moment.
No. It's a happy moment because it's funny to me. But I remember I was so excited to show him this movie. I was like, it's not that bad. It's at all. Although I should have thought about that before. Anyway, so we're watching it, and I'm like, and this part is not. It's not, real, baby. It's just pretend. I'm right here, and he watches it. He's like, Mommy, no! It's the whole moment. I was like, I'm fine. I'm right here. He's Mommy. It was a whole thing, and so I was like, yeah, that was a very bad parenting moment for me. Really bad call.
How do you handle
larger, more adult questions with a small child like that? Because it seems like you take very many, you're very intentional about the way that you parent. I mean, you've written a book on parenting, but how do you deal with when Titan comes up to you and says, what happens when you die? How do you explain that?
This one day I remember, I can't think of what we were doing and what made him come around to that thought. But sure enough, he says, I'm not ready to go yet. I can't think of like what fully happened. The parts that I do remember, he's like, I don't want to go yet or something like that. But I tried to comfort him, you know, and just saying how, you know, I think that, I was like, what do you think happens? You know, and then to give him the space to use his imagination. And so I said, I'll tell you what I think happens. I think there's a big bright light and the light comes and you're kind of in this really cool bubble. I was like, and all you can do is smile because it's light all around you and you have this really, really fun, happy feeling in your tummy and all you can do is just laugh. And you just it feels like somebody's giving you a hug. And he goes, okay, you know what I mean? But I think in those moments, like I try to use an imagination. He's like, you know, sometimes if I leave, he's like, I don't want you to go. And I remember this one time, I remember these moments now. Wow, this is so strange. But I said, why? He was like, you know, I said, don't I always come back? And I think that sometimes he is wanting to express a fear of, you know, me not coming back, but I was like, I'll always come back.
That was maybe the most beautiful explanation of death that I've ever heard. And I think we need to start explaining things to adults the way that we would explain them to a kid with an image, frankly. Because I haven't felt that good about mortality in a long time.
Well.
For real.
I mean, well, you think about what we living around. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes that dark thought or the heaviness of or weight of the world sometimes kind of taints the light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that sometimes we forget about the light, but the light is the thing that keeps us going.
Some days you get caviar and some days you're fishtailing your car in the rain.
LA in this rain.
But we have caviar. Kelly, for course number 2, I'm going to try and get through this fast so you can start eating as soon as possible. We have a hamburger, we have a 1/4 pound patty, 70-30 ground chuck, griddled super hard, all the fixins, Thousand Island, ketchup, mustard, lettuce, tomato, pickles, onions, all of that on a brioche bun. We have a beef taco sampler. I'm going to show you all of the facets of taco. So we have a carne asada street taco, we have a good old-fashioned ground beef hard shell taco, and then we have a braised beef with serranos and pickled onion taco and flour tortilla. We have some fresh cut fries, double fried twice, served along with ketchup. Gotta have the newspaper in there. And then a pineapple margarita with Don Julio 1942, shaken up fresh pineapple juice, some lime simple, little bit of tahini on the rim. I know. This is you. You did this for me too. You know, this is us.
I'm just so happy right now.
I am too.
Okay.
I mean, tell me about it. Tell me about the pineapple margarita.
The pineapple margarita actually started in Atlanta. I'll never forget, I was there with my cousins and they muddled the pineapple and just put all this love into it. And I tasted it and asked for another one immediately. It was so good.
We can get you refills too here.
Yes. So then I remember trying it at home recently and it was really, really good. It's my thing. French fries. Who doesn't love French fries? This is actually like a nod to my husband because he loves French fries so much. And so that's something that like we'll literally sit up there and he'll talk and we sit up there and we laugh and we share French fries in that way together. Tacos just takes me back to my time in Texas, and when I fell in love with Texas, one of the many things you fall in love with Texas is the cuisine. So you get so many different varieties of food, but the Tex-Mex is on another level. So when you just started to go through that just now, I think my heart skipped a beat, to be honest, because one of my first memories of a taco was the hard taco. And you pickled the onions. I'm just so happy.
Kelly, you deserve it, okay? You deserve it.
You pickle the onions. It's a big deal. So then you have burgers. Like, you know, anything between 2 pieces of bread is great to me. I don't care what it is.
And a hot dog is considered...
a sandwich.
A sandwich, thank you.
Yes.
A woman of reason.
A hot dog is between 2 pieces of bread.
But cheers.
Oh, cheers. Cheers.
Gotta flip to the tahini side.
Who did this?
I think it was V. She came in with the margarita and was real proud of it.
She should be.
That is unreal.
All right, which one are we gonna start with?
I'm looking to you for cues.
I say the street taco.
Should we bust out the tapatio for it?
Yes, we
Please?
should.
So we also have a little bit of avocado sauce on there.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
then I
it's
don't know if it
tucked
needs.
in
I
there.
just
We wanted to load it up with steak,
too
though.
little. I'm always like, do I want both tortillas or just one?
I'm a big fan of taking off the outside tortilla. Nobody actually knows how the two tortilla thing started.
I would like to know.
They think it's just because the quality of tortillas is so bad, like at stores. Kelly. Kelly. Now we sink deeper into the booth. You don't have to.
My fabric won't let me. This is so good. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What do you mean, what are we doing?
I mean,
what are we doing? Kelly, I squeezed the line long ago.
I'm doing it.
Sorry, this is my home. I forget that I need to invite people, you know what I mean? I have questions I'm supposed to ask, and I don't want to ask them because I'm just enjoying basking in your joy of the food, and I just want to let this wash over me for a second.
But it was the lime.
While you chew, I'm going to ask you a question. So, you spent a lot of your childhood in Houston. You were performing from such a young age. You started singing in churches. You actually switched churches because you were singing secular music, and some people didn't agree with that. What was that experience like?
Wow. No one's ever asked me that blunt, but you were exactly right.
Blunt questions are easier to ask when there's tacos and margaritas involved.
You're right. You know, it was a space and place that my mom really, really loved. And around that time, I was becoming a woman. And when it came to making decisions by myself and faith and, you know, where I wanted to decide to worship, that really meant a lot to me. And this particular church did that for me. And it gave me a sense of home. Every single time I came home, it was Bread of Life in Houston, Texas. And it was just this, I remember like, I can feel it. You know, I can feel what it felt like. It felt like home. And if you're like out and moving into the world and the world is moving so fast and you're moving with the world so fast, it was nice to be still.
You said the music industry would have chewed me up and spit me out had it not been for God. And looking at everything from when you started performing 11, 12 years old, from Girls' Time on Star Search, through like the tabloid era of Destiny's Child to now come out on the other end as, you know, not only a veritable superstar, but somebody who has a beautiful family, somebody who's producing movies with Tyler Perry. Tell me what God meant to you as having that sort of safe haven.
Oh, my safe space.
Yeah.
And I think like the older I get, the more I'm learning about the walk. You know what I mean? Because when I was a kid, you're like, oh, thank God I'm a Christian now. It's going to be great. You know what I mean? And when you have faith, I don't care what background you are, when you have a faith, I feel like in some sort of way, when you want to make the right decision, there is struggle. But yeah, so I just think that God is my everything. I'm so grateful to my mother and my grandmother and my aunts for introducing me to faith at such a young age.
I'm curious what you've learned about your self-worth through your music career and also through faith. Was there a single moment where you realized that like, I am Kelly Rowland and I am a superstar and I am deserving?
Motherhood has blessed me in ways you can't even imagine. I say that because when I'm sitting up there talking to my son, my oldest son, Titan, I'm realizing there's a message in there that I actually need. So your children are like going boom, boom, like, you know what I mean? It's something in you that needs to be ignited and reminded. So I always like to be humble to those moments and be able to understand them, because while he's 9, here I am at 40-something years old and I'm still learning this lesson, whatever it might be in it. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have those moments and sometimes you don't. But I think that motherhood is just blessed me tremendously, for sure. And I realize that if I'm telling him something, I have to like talk the talk and walk the walk. But yeah.
Dig into the burger. It's getting cold. It's getting cold.
Oh, wait, what about the hard shell taco?
Go. Okay. I'm going where you're going.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God.
When's the last time you had one of these?
A drunken night at Taco Bell?
When was that? Give us a date.
No.
Do you still eat Taco Bell? Do you still have a penchant for fast food?
Yeah.
Same.
We didn't even try a fry.
We didn't try a fry, Kelly. I was eating fries the whole time. We haven't tried the burger yet.
Should we do it?
We should do it.
Let's
finally.
do it. I'm gonna give this a little smashy smash.
A little, or do you fully compress?
I fully compress.
Same.
Yes.
I was mid trash compacting the burger. What's that? You sound like a bear cat.
What the hell is a bear cat?
A bear cat. It's like they're from like Canada. They like what are they called? You don't know a bear
I
cat?
don't know what a bear cat is.
Oh, you made a perfect bear cat sound.
Oh, well,
it's a compliment, by the way.
You're welcome.
I think they're really cute animals. A lot of people think they're not.
Okay. This whole hand is just gonna be covered in sauce. All right, ready? Who did this?
This is a Lily. This is a Lily original.
Lily. I don't know if you're in a relationship right now, but what I will say, I am married. But a side piece for food is something I will definitely be able to talk to my husband about.
Lily has a fiance. His name is Alex. He's very lovely. But if him and Tim can play video games together while you and Lily are cooking, I get it. Anyways, Kelly, I wanted to ask you a little bit about music. You have been inspired by so many genres. Your first album, Simply Deep, you had a lot of alt rock inspiration in there, and then of course you had your collab with David Guetta that went platinum in like 9 different countries, top 10 in 50.
22, but who's counting?
What are you currently inspired by right now, and when are we going to see new music?
Okay. As far as music is concerned, like what I'm listening to, it would have to be the likes of like Victoria Monet.
Of course.
It would also be Snow Allegra, Anita Baker. I mean, it's always Anita Baker. It's always Sade. My playlist is kind of old school right now. It's like old school and jazz and R&B.
Because I remember dancing in college to When Love Takes Over, and you know we're out there, glow sticks, everything. But are there any like cross-genre collabs that you would want to do in the future, like a whole new genre out there that you're like?
A whole new genre.
tap
I mean,
in.
I have so much fun with dance. I really do. It's just so alive. You know what I mean? It's so live, and when you're actually doing the record, you can. I know it sounds crazy, but I can actually like see people's memories sometimes, like the way like they look when they like hear the song. It's like everything's attached to a memory when you see someone live. At least for me, it is, and I can't help but to feel like everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
So as I am performing the song, sometimes I just put the mic down and just start skipping around the damn stage. I just get so excited. But I think that that's what music does. It should create this like really beautiful, euphoric space that just makes everybody feel like just for the moment you don't have to worry about anything, and someone actually like connects with you, and other people around you connect with you on this space and level that, you know, can only be defined in this moment. It's pretty dope.
Kelly, for course number 3, we have the infinitely refillable pineapple margarita. We don't know where it comes from. The glass stays full.
Yes, we love that.
And then we have the A5 Wagyu. So this is a olive-fed Wagyu that we got imported from the Kagoshima Prefecture of Japan. Sliced it thin, seared it as hot as possible. Should be cooked about medium well. Get that intramuscular fat render down, and then some plum puree, good old fancy mashed potatoes, tons of butter. Please dig in and tell me all about the 8-year-olds that you're eating A5 Wagyu with.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that was so funny, but it's hilarious. It's so funny. So we take the kids to have like a weekend in New York City for Christmas. Like Christmas is always so magical. They also love Home Alone too. So in the spirit of that, we basically take them there. And so we take them to one of these restaurants. That's one of my favorite Korean like barbecue spots called Kote. So we go there and they have all these different, you know, styles of and cuts of beef that you can order. So we decide to like have the kids try everything. I didn't know that an 8-year-old would be able to school me on what an A5 Wagyu steak is. And all of a sudden, you know, sure enough, I'm like, this one is this one is even better than the last one. And Connor jumps up and goes, "That's the A5, Miss Kelly." I was like, "What?" She's like, "A5." And I was such one of the other moms that was with me. I was like, A5? She was like, "It's a cut of steak." I was like, oh, wow, he knew way more than me in this moment.
If that little kid needs an internship, tell him to come on down, because I'm impressed. Connor, I'm impressed. I recognize your game out there.
Ooh, my God. That is so good.
So A5 is like the highest grade, not to school Connor, but A5 is the highest grade. And there tend to be like, you can get A4, it's priced differently, it all has to do with the intramuscular fat and marbling. But the actual Wagyu cow, I'm literally just rambling so she can eat, because this is how the show goes. The actual Wagyu breed of cow, they stopped importing into America in the 1980s so they could protect the Japanese industry. So if you ever see a ground Wagyu burger for $12, you're getting scammed. No, one more time.
I'm just so happy. I am so happy. This is so good.
Now I feel bad if I'm about to ask depressing questions, because that's how the show goes.
No, go ahead, ask away. The food is bringing me joy.
So your mom, growing up, she nannied for other families, and you would talk about, you didn't grow up with much, and you would see all the things that other people had. I believe the first perfume that you bought with your own money is a perfume from somebody else's house that you saw. Has the shine of luxury worn out at all, or do you still really enjoy the finer things?
You have to, I like to know what I'm getting or know what I'm buying. Like a finer thing to me is investing in art. I love art. It's like a part of, the thread of who I am, to be honest. You know what I mean? When you walk into my house, all you see is art. I'm so grateful to Tina Knowles and Swiss Beats for showing me this beautiful space to be able to express yourself and be creative. And it's in your home. It's like there's this beautiful Robert Pruitt piece on my stairwell, and it's actually a gift from my mama T, and there's a beautiful woman in a grass skirt, and she's holding this grenade in the back of her back. I was like, and I said, I'm gonna put it down the stairwell. I said, because if somebody come at me wrong today, they gonna get this grenade. But it's like all of my art speaks to me in such different ways, you know what I mean? And that's a finer thing in life, and I appreciate that. And it was also something that I work hard to get. I think that's another thing, everything looks so quick, on social media and everything. And I think that when you actually work hard for it and you appreciate it, it's, that moment is the most important moment. Like, that's your hard work hanging on the wall.
How do you prevent your children from sort of growing up with that amount of privilege and taking things for granted?
We make it a point to definitely talk to Titan, because it was so funny. Like, I think at one point in time, everything it's good. You had to do
I had
dance.
to tell you got me dancing.
Right,
this can't be the TikTok. I know you're gonna try and clip this out of TikTok of me looking like Shaq from the Shaq and the cat meme when he's just doing this.
By the way, it was so cute because you took your body, you said, ooh, 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 ooh. It was like a whole moment. It was so cute. Oh. But it is the thing is that it's work to do that. You know what I mean? And it's not hard work, because I always remind Titan of my beginning. And when I remind him of my beginning, I don't like to do it too much, because I remember somebody said, don't do that. You don't want to make him feel bad.
Yeah, you're throwing a burden on him.
Yes, exactly. And I do have these moments where I'm, allowing him to express himself, and then he has to tone. If his tone gets too that's on the verge of disrespect, then I have to check him.
Yeah.
I think everything is up for a discussion. You know what I mean? And I like to be able to create this space of communication with my son. I think when I was growing up, that was a luxury. I didn't realize how a luxury is communicating with your kid. I didn't have a space to really have this moment with my mom.
Is there an element of healing the past you in your own parenting now?
Yes, that's a beautiful question. Absolutely. I said that because, I remember one of the things I was so nervous about in being a parent was my patience, because I ain't have none. And I mean it just like that. I ain't have none. I was really scared because my mom, as great as she blessed me with her space in motherhood, I would like to think that my experience was one where it was definitely different than outside it is now. Yeah. So, I think that I just wanted to make things so different for my kids.
Do you ever have moments where you're like, I'm trying to make things so different deliberately that I'm sort of swinging to the other side?
And I realize it, and I have to check it quickly, because I realize how much how much I've kind of messed this part up. So I need to fix it quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And I remember, like, I told him I used to get spankings. And so he was like, oh, so your mom, this is how he broke it down, I promise. He says, so your mom gave you spanking, so do you think it's okay to spank me, correct? And I said, oh, shit. It's like, this one is way too emotionally intelligent. Like,
It must be stopped.
This school is so much money. And I'm paying for them to have my child check me at home.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this right now. But he is emotionally intelligent. He knows when he goes too far. He comes back and we talk about it beautifully.
Do you still find yourself repeating certain things and immediately clock it like, oh no, that was from my mom?
Yes. Like, I remember somebody told me about self-regulation. Actually, my therapist told me about self-regulation. It's trying to figure out how to communicate with this younger person whose brain isn't fully, you know what I mean, developed. And when she told it to me like that, I understood. Because we kind of expect when we're growing up, like, I think that it's just natural to think like, you should just understand what I'm saying, but they don't. They're 9, you know, they're in a 9-year-old body. They deserve a very self-regulated and able to communicate with them. And even when they lose it, I'm still calm to meet them so that they can come back to where I am. And it has been working like a charm. So I'm happy.
Hell yeah, you got little Wagyu eating babies out here. I'm gonna start, when I have kids, I'm gonna start calling you for parenting advice.
You
I'm just gonna be like,
you can. I'm learning as I go. You know, I'm still learning. So
you ready to get into dessert?
yes,
Let's do it.
yes.
Kelly, for your final course of your last meal, we have the peach cobbler. This is made proper Southern style with the cobbler batter underneath, peaches on top, then baked. We have the chocolate peanut butter pie, a little bit of flaky Maldon salt, fully homemade with the chocolate crumb crust. And then, of course, a chocolate layer cake. It is your birthday in 2 days from when we are filming now, so we gave you a little candle.
Thank
and
you.
This is kind of ironic, but who sings happy birthday to a professional singer? Should we all? I think we should all do it.
Yes.
Everyone? All right. Happy birthday to you.
Me.
Happy birthday to you.
Me.
Happy birthday, dear Kelly.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Can
Thank you.
we auto-tune that? Or?
Yeah, no, you know, I think it's great. It's very authentic. It's great. Thank you all. I got my wish though. I'm eating and I'm happy. I'm full of joy and gratitude.
Tell me about the desserts. I know you love chocolate and peanut butter. I've seen you make a
do.
chocolate peanut butter martini
Yes.
on Instagram.
Yes. My love for chocolate and peanut butter actually started with Reese's peanut butter cups. And I remember looking at the recipe on foodnetwork.com like years ago. And I tried it at home and I remember taking it to the studio and everybody killed it. I actually recently took it to a studio session and the producer loved it for sure. And then peach cobbler just reminds me of home. Peaches, Atlanta. I think about you know, my time in the city that borned me. You know, Atlanta, Georgia borned me, and I'm just the only other person I know that makes peach cobbler, and it feels like it's giving me a hug. Her name is Angela Beyonce. She is a sister of mine and also an actress, and just a brilliant person overall. And then chocolate cake. I'm chocolate. But I'm chocolate and I love cake. Yeah, these are my favorite desserts. I love chocolate. I do.
Where the hell did these come from?
Oh my God, what happened?
Who knows? Well, we must have forgotten to drink the last round.
Maybe.
This is really, I mean, this is proper.
Oh my God. There's not even a song that sums this up right now.
Kelly, I think you and I got to write the duet right now. Right now.
No matter, no.
I can just do the, I'll be that. I'll be the backing vocals. But I'm going to do that every time. I want to ask you about the concept of chosen family, because your family obviously means a lot to you and you're very close with the Knowles family. I mean, Tina walked you down the aisle.
Yes.
But you also reconnected with your father after you hadn't seen him for 30 years because you said having that legacy and that connection is really important. Why is that as opposed to like the chosen family?
your family serves you in so many ways. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful to Tina and her girls. You know, I'm speaking of B and Solange and Angie in particular, and the way they've given me a sense of sisterhood is one that I've learned through, and they've loved me through that, and learning and life, like how crazy that we've all known each other. You know what I mean? The public always goes to, of course, Vivi, but like for Solange and Angie, like, you know, we have grown up together and lived life together and had children together, become aunts together and moms together. Like, that's a real blessing. And to be able to have them as my family, even though the only thing that separates us is blood, is just a blessing. And Tina being right there by my side, my mama T, during both of my childbirths and walking down the aisle, some of the most pivotal moments of my life, even when I had to lay my mother to rest. That was like, I can't imagine life without them, and I'm so grateful to them for that, because whether it was joy or sadness, we experienced it together, and it makes the relationship so much richer.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. And my father, I mean, this is so new. It's so funny because I remember calling a friend of mine who was a therapist, and it was my 5th day of knowing my dad. And I'll never forget, I was like, before he calls, I have like strange butterflies. And I was like when you're dating someone, he was like, well, that's the actual feeling that you're supposed to feel when you're 3. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he broke it down for me in a psychological space, and how and what I was supposed to be thinking and feeling and experiencing if he were there. And I'm experiencing all these things now, and it's just a blessing. I love my dad, and he's just a really great, sweet man.
And I'm sure being a parent now, being able to forgive your father is now giving you that grace that, oh, no matter what I do, my child can forgive.
When I actually broke it down for my son, because I had to explain it to him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It was...
Yeah, who's this new guy?
Right. This guy just showed up to my birthday party. Who is he? That's actually what happened.
Really?
I'm not joking.
Really?
I'm
No
not
way.
joking at all. So I told my son, I was like, so I had to talk with him. I said, you're going to meet your granddad. I was like, I'm just meeting my dad. He's like, how are you just meeting your dad? And so he's sitting there, and I said, but you'll see him today. So I'm having this whole moment of, Titan, this is your granddad. And I'm looking at my dad. He goes, hi. And he goes back to play with his buddies. You know what I mean? And it was so, I was like, oh, I should actually treat it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just take it like one step at a time. I'm still so grateful to my big brother, who said, you gotta jump. You know what I mean? If you want this, and he's showing you that he wants the relationship, you gotta jump. And my husband has been so supportive, and he's always asking, like, you know, how's your dad? You check on your dad? Like, my whole circle was just so like, let's do it.
Yeah, that is a beautiful story and a beautiful pie.
This chocolate peanut butter pie is so delightful.
This has been a beautiful meal overall. Kelly, you ready to get in the lightning round?
Let's do the lightning round.
You can keep it with a salt on that.
Or,
Who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
ooh, my husband.
What song do you want to be played at your funeral? It can't be yours.
It can't be mine?
I don't know. Well, it can be yours. Now I'm interested.
Are you ready for this one?
Sure am.
Back that thing up by Juvenile.
Yes! And Kelly, I'm going to be there backing that thing up.
Because I want them to laugh. Like, you know what I mean? I know that my moments with people were like fun and joyful. So I'm like, I want them to be like, now why does Heifer decide to play back that ass up? You know what I mean? I want them to laugh.
You said if you didn't become a singer, you would have been a psychoanalyst. Who's the one person you'd want to sit down with and psychoanalyze?
One would be Stevie Wonder. The other one would be my son. The only reason why is because, like, I think, but I'm talking about the little one, because he can't, like, really, like, voice everything right now. He's the closest thing you have to, like, being super, super small. So, like, a baby. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what the innocence and, like, everything about that is just like, wow, you don't know what's gonna happen. And you don't pay not one bill. So just, like, the whole freedom. But the freedom of being a baby is just like, I bet you that's like floating.
Who would win in an arm wrestling match, you or Beyonce?
I have to say me.
I'll say, if you want to test it out, you're like, you don't have to. I'm just like, if you want to lock up, hold on. Try it. I'll ask the next one. All right, somebody give us a count.
3, 2, 1.
What's your greatest regret in life? I'm sorry, you there?
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, greatest regret. What you got?
Don't take it light on me.
Oh God. Wait, no,
took
you
it light.
No, you got it though.
He was being nice. I don't appreciate that. I could have taken you.
I got a rotator cuff in here.
I could have got you. It's okay.
We'll do one at the end of it.
Okay.
Oh, what's your greatest regret in life?
My greatest regret in life? I feel like I should have trusted him. That's the one regret I have. I wish I would have trusted myself a lot more in my 20s. So I encourage all of you 20-year-olds with greatness and dreams and goals inside of you, write them all down, plan it out, and tell everyone who doesn't believe in it to go themselves.
Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. Kelly Rowland, everybody. Finally, are you happy?
Yes.
Goddamn right you are.
Yes, I am. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. Gratitude. Gratitude every day.
I'm incredibly grateful. Everybody, check out Mea Culpa on Netflix. Kelly Rowland producing and starring. Kelly, if you want to deliver your last words to that camera right there.
Oh my gosh, please go check out Mea Culpa. It is such a fly, sexy, erotic thriller you don't want to miss. You should have your girlfriends come up and y'all should post up and y'all should have the same meal. I'm just saying.
The official cross-collab Mea Culpa last meal.
And have pineapple margaritas.
The unofficial drink of Mea Culpa. Kelly, for real. This is an incredible conversation, incredible meal. Thank you so much for coming.
You too. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for stopping by Mythical Kitchen. We got new videos every week. You know the deal. See y'all next time. All right, now for real. We're clearing it out. Get the salt out, because I was slipping on the salt.
You weren't slipping on the salt, you were taking it easy from me. Okay.
Someone give us a count?
3,
No, I got hair in my mouth. I'm not gonna be able to focus.
I thought you were taking off your earrings. I was like, oh shit.
2, 1, go.
Just gotta turn the wrist. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought I hurt you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Me and my pride will leave stage right.
I'm Hank Green, and my last meal would be avocado boba tea and a sweet bean bun, a catfish po' boy and a sazerac, a fancy corn dog with chipotle mayo, lasagna, black tea, candied salmon, a warm chocolate chip cookie, and a coffee peanut butter milkshake for dessert.
Every person has exactly 2 things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today we're joined by science communicator, novelist, sock connoisseur, and prolific pisser of cancer, Hank Green. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. I'm very excited about food right now.
I am excited that you're excited.
You're like co-star to the food. I hope you know.
Not even co-star. I'm like merely the usher, just shoveling the food towards you and
Food
getting the
usher.
scraps as I
Food
can take
usher.
them.
Yes.
I feel like there's an elephant in the room that we have to address, which
Okay.
is the title of the video. That many people are going to think that you are dying.
I'm not. No, I assume they get the format, but I don't know.
But you're currently only dying about as much as I'm dying.
Theoretically, that's the idea.
Which one of us do you think is currently dying more?
Me, for sure. I've seen
crap.
your body.
It's the insides are rotten. The outside of the apple is great. You take a bite and it is just completely molded.
Okay, I believe you. Yeah, no, I mean, where I'm at right now is I've been in remission for about this long, and that's great. And basically, they call you cured at 5 years, so I got a while before I can like have the biggest celebration. But it's pretty unlikely that it will come back.
Have you ever thought about your last meal before?
You know, no, not until I thought, oh, maybe I could be on that show, and then I was thinking a lot about it.
This is a stupid question. How much have you thought about death?
Oh, a bunch now. Yeah, I've thought about, I've thought about it very abstractly for a long time, and I was like, here's probably what it's gonna feel like if I have to confront that, and I was totally wrong. If you have a chance to confront your mortality, I suggest don't do it if you can't avoid it. It's a whole set of things. But I definitely learned stuff about myself that I didn't know and that are definitely true. And that's good to know true things. But I don't know. I feel like I could have learned them a little later. It's a lot. Yeah. There were early on in the process, before we knew what kind of cancer I had, there was some times when it was like, there's like a shocking number of practicalities to it. So I was sort of thinking about that stuff, and then also like finding out what I actually feel like I'm gonna miss out on, which I was I'm like a science guy. Before I was sick, I was like, it'd suck if I died before there were people on Mars. Like I won't get to see what AI does, I won't get to see our weird robot apocalypse future, whatever it is. But that didn't bother me at all when I was actually thinking about maybe dying. It was all family and friends stuff.
You ready to eat?
Oh yeah,
Let's do it. Let's get back to this. This is gonna be a
kind of a left turn from that
sine curve
conversation we
here.
were on, but I will absolutely eat food.
All right, Hank, for the first course of your last meal, we have sweet red bean buns. These are actually from a spot called IXLB Dim Sum Eats. Fantastic. They make them better than we could at home. And then we have made our own avocado milk tea boba.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How'd this end up on your last meal?
The first time I ever had boba tea, I was on tour. It was like the first time I ever like performed music on tour with a band. And like that's such a weird thing to get to do in your life. The people in my band, like the folks who and they'd been touring musicians for a long time, and so they'd been all over America, and they'd done like when you're touring, you it's very good to get a moment where you stop and enjoy something, and so they knew all these weird places to go eat, and we stopped at this literally, like you could say hole in the wall, but it wasn't like a crappy place, but it was a hole in a wall. Sure. Like it was like you walked up to a counter that was downtown and like you could not go inside. So and they like had banh mi sandwiches and boba tea, and I was like, I want to get a weird, like what's the weirdest boba flavor I could get? And it was avocado.
But that's incredible. Please dig in.
Okay, yes, and I also have a bean paste story.
Well, one at a time. Come on. Have some decorum, Hank.
Oh my gosh. That's better than Chicago hole in the wall.
And you get that little, if you think about it, you're like, ooh, is that guac on the back of my palate? Tell me about your red bean story.
Well, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, where there's a lot of large Asian population, and me and my friends would go to like weird little restaurants and order things that we wouldn't normally eat, because it was like, let's try to be different in the world. Like let's try to see what the world is like when you're not just eating, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. And bean isn't dessert, is the thought, and you're like, okay, I'll try bean dessert. And I was making my own choices, and I was like seeing the world and having control over it, and agency, and like being able to explore.
That's incredible. Please.
I love that I just get to eat food. Oh, they're so soft.
Where does that innate sense of curiosity come from?
I don't think I was born that way, man. I think we all are.
What do you think quashes it within people then?
I think that's the big thing. People often ask me like, how do you like help a kid get into science? And I'm like, you listen when they ask. And instead of saying, I don't know, you say like, let's find out. Like let's go through the process together, because I don't know either. Or even if you do think you know, like to like show the child the process of like exploring, even if it's just like on Wikipedia,
I'm at the age where I'm like thinking about having kids, and I'm incredibly scared of having kids, because I think that anything I try and model for them, they're going to completely rebel against.
You don't know. and here's the thing, my dad was so good at this, that like whatever I was up to, he was like, that's probably interesting, so I should check it out too. Especially even if he'd never been exposed to it. Like suddenly my dad's a Nine Inch Nails fan, He's like, this is actually some really interesting music. I'm like, this is not what it's about, Dad! You're not supposed to be into this! I'm supposed to be you're supposed to hate it so I can like it!
Trent Reznor's mine, Dad! He's my best friend, you can't have him. What's the best part of having cancer?
People do stuff for you.
That sounds rad.
And they have to, or they're a bad person.
When I think of Hank Green, I think of weaponizing guilt, so this is very much on brand for you.
No, it's like, it's good. Like, I think that people want to do stuff for you when you need help. And so it's good to like have a moment where you need help. We don't need to be seriously ill to ask for a favor from a friend, right? Like, let's have that be our world. Like, if you ask for a favor from somebody, they come over and bring you a latte that you can't go get yourself. Then you just have a latte with a friend. It's not like it's not like they're like, oh boy, I had to do that. It's like, oh, I'm having a pleasant time.
Yeah.
Just like put them on the calendar, even if they don't know it. Just like 4 days from now, to say like, oh, I'm gonna text this person this day, or I'm gonna like be in their neighborhood and text and say, hey, I'm nearby. Do you want anything? Or because if you don't put it on the calendar, there's a million things. You have to figure out how to decide. You have to figure out how to prioritize the things that really matter. But like when the world is sort of like bombarding you with distractions, you end up forgetting to.
I imagine a lot of people have given you praise for, quote, remaining positive in the face of your diagnosis.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my favorite art pieces, this is going somewhere, but you gotta sit for a second, is Rene Magritte's Treachery of Images. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. It's a picture of a pipe, but he's saying this ain't a pipe. You can't smoke it, you can't stuff it, it has nothing in common with the pipe, it's merely an image. It's kind of the way that I have digested a lot of YouTubers specifically. This is a representation of a person that's curated and it can't possibly see the whole picture of that.
Yeah.
And of course I recognize the paradox of all of these cameras. Thank you, cam ops.
They're cameras?
Dylan, you're the best. You're my number one cam op in the whole group. Taylor, watch your ass win. Anyways, I recognize the paradox, but like behind the scenes, after you turned the camera off, what were your real emotions? Were they similar to on camera?
I've always had comfort in the feeling that like what I show people is me, but it's not all of me.
Sure.
So like, yeah, I was like that sometimes. And sometimes I wasn't. You know, being sick, like, is bad because it hurts. It is physically uncomfortable. And the not knowing when it's gonna end or not knowing if it's normal, so there's like a fear component to it. Whereas like the existential stuff, like I was completely unpredictable and I didn't know when it was gonna hit and not hit. And like there were absolutely times where I was just like living my life, having a good time, and I felt bad, and that made it kind of hard. But then there were times when I was feeling okay, but like the brain parts were making it so that I couldn't have a good time. And so like even in the times when I felt physically really horrible, there were laughs, you know?
I remember during your initial video, the I Have Cancer, you made a joke that actually made me tear up. That was watching the medical system move so quickly was disconcerting. It was like seeing a horse with hands, and Hank, a single tear dropped down my hardened little cheek on that moment. So the positivity, it was genuinely inspirational.
Yeah, and it was weird. It was like, wait, it's been 3 days and I've had like 12 doctor's appointments.
It's Twilight Zone episode. Something is amiss.
Something is wrong.
There's something on the wing.
Everybody
of the
is saying that it might not be cancer, but they're acting like it is.
You ready for course number 2?
I'm ready for course number 2.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hank, for course number 2, we have a fried catfish po' boy. Catfish has been marinated in buttermilk, a little bit of hot sauce, Tony Chachere seasoning overnight, a little bit of remoulade spread on the po' boy roll. This is taken from a New Orleans bakery called Orleans, New York. They do great work. A little bit of shreddis, tomato on there. And then we have a classic Sazerac cocktail. This is made with Sazerac, rye whiskey, a rinse of Pernod absinthe, a lemon twist, and then some Peychaud's bitters to round it all out. Yeah, but this is exciting. I love this stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like it's super traditional. Like, they're both New Orleans dishes, but I don't know if they generally go together. But hell, I mean, I will do it.
I found everything goes together in New Orleans, which is great.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot at all, and I drink less now. But like, it's the closest thing you have to like a magic potion, like somebody making a real weird cocktail. I love that, and I love liquids.
I expected more words. Sometimes more words come after a word, but not that time.
No,
but
I love juice. I love Coca-Cola. I love boba tea. I love tea. I love coffee. Like, I don't know if we think about it, but like this, it's kind of a weird thing because most of those things don't have a lot of nutrition in them or any nutrition. They have food. Like there's sugar. It just seems very human to me.
Yeah.
And I feel similarly about sauces, which is a big deal with a po' boy. And a sauce is kind of like it's kind of like a drink that you put on food.
Yes. What did I say right when the cameras turned off? I said if I have a liquid next to a solid, I need
just
to
want to put them in
interact.
the thing. I want to French dip that catfish po' boy into that Sazerac.
Cheers.
Let's not do it.
I think this is where I draw the line.
Oh, hell yeah. It does taste like magic.
It does taste like magic. Dig into the po' boy. It's getting cold. It's getting cold.
Oh, God. That bread is so crunchy. Where's that from?
Orleans, New York bakery. So it's a proper like New Orleans style French loaf.
It's perfect.
That's really nice. You made a video of making elf spaghetti and talking about death, which for me is kind of the full circle.
You want to explain what elf spaghetti is?
Please. Elf spaghetti, Will Ferrell in the movie Elf makes his ideal spaghetti, which I believe is just a pile of noodles, not finished in the sauce, which is my only problem with it. Covered in, I believe it was like marshmallows, M&Ms, chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, and then finished with maple syrup on top as if it were a fine pecorino romano. And you made that, and then you were musing on death. You said a quote that meant a lot to me. You said, I realized I very much wanted to be alive for as long as possible, if only because things are interesting and I wanted to keep seeing them. Is that about as close as we can get to finding a meaning of life?
And then he goes for more po' boy. He's just like, what's the meaning of life, Hank?
It helps the existentialism go down. Did you taste the Creole mustard in the remoulade?
I do. I do also want a little hot sauce, though.
Wait, there's some hot sauce. Navia.
Just like the simplest cayenne, if you can find it.
Wait a couple. We have Tony Chachere's hot sauce. We got Red Rooster. Bottom drawer.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
so
Hank, you can
much.
also go pick your own. Yeah, big.
The red cap on the far left, right in the front.
Wait, there's Crystal.
Yeah.
No, this one's fun though. Bring it. Thank you. But also, wait, go back.
Is
Have you
there
had this?
crystal? No, I haven't.
So this is made from the daddle pepper, which they say is the oldest pepper grown in the Americas. No, yeah, can you go back? No, Navia, no. Can you open the fridge again? There's a bottle of Crystal. It's actually on the second drawer next to the pickles.
The second one up.
I think it might be unopened. We get a virgin bottle of Crystal, which
That's
is
tasty.
great.
Very sweet.
Yeah, right? St. Augustine, is that far from Orlando?
It's
Yeah.
Florida.
Florida's
It's
pretty
like, I don't know. It's a drive.
Yeah, it's like in...
This. This. This.
Wait, can you pass me the other one though? Thank you. So I think you and I have a very similar relationship to sauce. Yeah, that's exactly. Wait, no, come on. Stop Bogart the sauce. You were saying, no, eat.
Yeah,
Manja.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
What did I say about life?
Something about
it's just
Buddy
me. It's just me. When I was sick and I was trying to just do something. You're bored because you feel so bad. That I felt like I was still good at my job, which was telling people about how the world is weird. And then I was still good at the part where it was trying to figure out why the world is weird. And you can look too hard, I think, sometimes. But if you look too hard, it can become a problem. And so to just listen to your brain being yeah, I like that. And it's what's unhealthy about this? If it's, having 6 Sazeracs a day, that's not good. But if it's just being super interested in how red pandas work, there's nothing bad about that. I'm only good is happening as I'm figuring that out or consuming that content.
When you got diagnosed, one of your fears was cancer taking over your identity, that you were now going to be known as anxiety sickness guy as opposed to fun, goofy science guy. Do you still think there's time to pivot your identity to #1 Dave Matthews hater?
How do you know how I feel about Dave Matthews?
What's the worst thing you've ever said about Dave Matthews? Dave deserves to know.
Probably pretty mean. When I was in high school, the people that didn't like me liked Dave Matthews, so it didn't have anything to do with Dave. High school's tough.
Sure.
And we all find our identities. Those people found their identity in Dave Matthews and hating me. So I found my identity in hating Dave Matthews and them.
No, the reason I know that. Do you know the reason I know that? Do you know the piece of media? It was the first piece of media that I ever heard you on.
Oh, wow.
It was a podcast called Conversations with People Who Hate Me.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Marion, where there was a person who had commented, I hate Hank Green, and then they got them on the line with you to explain why.
Absolutely wild.
That meant a lot to me. I had just started out on YouTube, and I had just started receiving abuse.
Sure.
And so your interaction there, showing your empathy and general goodness, and also showing empathy for the person who said that they hate you, meant a lot to me.
It really helps. We just need to engage in activities that turn the temperature down. They don't think I'm going to see it, but you see it.
You see it. You see a lot more.
Dave Matthews never saw it. What we said about Dave Matthews in the privacy of my friend's home had no chance of escaping to reach Dave. And now, easy peasy, just make it a TikTok and it's gonna hit him.
It would hit him faster than the 800 pounds of human feces coming out of his tour bus hit those people in that Chicago River cruise. Am I right?
Yeah, I remember that. That's a thing that happened.
I didn't have that planned to say. I just remembered that was a thing that happened, and now we're here.
I think Dave Matthews is great. Dave, if you're watching, you should come on the show. It's not my show.
No,
so
Hank is going to host the next episode and cook. You have a lovely soup.
Yeah, whatever it is. I bet Dave Matthews would love this.
I know Dave Matthews would love this.
But that's not what the question was. Why do you?
Before I even mentioned Dave Matthews, you're right. Your identity as cancer guy as opposed to fun, goofy science guy.
Yeah. What I realized really quick is I was actually, I do want to be the cancer guy.
Interesting.
But I could be the fun, goofy science cancer guy. Whereas, what's cancer? And how does cancer treatment work? And what's happened? Like, I'm the story now. Cancer, like, science is happening in me right now. And then cancer treatment was like science happening in my body. And like being me, I was able to like look at the history of the treatments I was taking, understand where they came from, how, like, why, you know, like why I was doing the treatments I was doing as opposed to what I would do if my treatments weren't working or if I was having adverse effects to them, like understanding the different paths that people who have my particular cancer take, understanding that cancers are all very different from each other, understanding how chemotherapy works, how radiation works, like how do they decide how much chemo to give you, and how worried should I be that they're giving me too much or not enough. And in some ways I'm like a great patient, in some ways I'm a nightmare patient, because I'm like, doctor, I don't know if I feel good about the statistical analysis in the German Hopkins study group study, because there's no statistical difference between this and this, or this and this, but they didn't test whether there's a statistical difference between this and this. And he's like, yeah, no, that's true.
Do you want it or not? When I first found out about your diagnosis, my first little intrusive thought was just, oh, this is the best guy to get cancer. For that exact reason, that I know your curiosity and your ability to communicate.
Being curious, like, I don't think it's for everybody, but being curious about it was actually really helpful to me.
Yeah.
And I have some other friends, I have a friend who also does science YouTube videos who went through his own cancer journey a few years ago, and so it was very nice to have him as a friend. He said the same thing. He was like, just like getting a chance to, you know, have a really good reason to do really in-depth research on a really interesting topic is cool. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess it's kind of terrifying, but I'm glad it's also cool.
Hank, for your next course, we have quote-unquote fancy corn dog.
Yeah.
This is a Wagyu beef hot dog from Snake River Farms. It's my favorite hot dog on the planet. And then we have wrapped that in a cornmeal batter with a little bit of truffle honey and a little bit of saffron in there.
Okay.
And then double fried it, served with a chipotle mayo from scratch, of course. And then we have...
Double fried is how corn dogs work.
Yeah, it's how you gotta do it.
That's how you gotta do it.
You gotta set it, and then it rests, and then you get that extra crispy coating on top. A little bit of moisture seeps out of there.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. And then we have lasagna with, quote, lots of layers.
Yeah.
We fit 11 in there, which I hope constitutes a lot.
That's more than 11. I'm
That's-
looking at it. That's like, I don't know, count, boy.
1, 2, 3. No, I think you're seeing fractures of noodles. You know what's funny? Lily told me it was 11. Lily made this lasagna, and it looks great. She told me it was 11, and then I said, I'm gonna forget that, and I'm just gonna tell Hank a random number, and surely he's not gonna count. And here we are.
I'm at 11 and I'm halfway down. I'm counting pastas. Counting pastas in a vertical, pasticles in a vertical slice.
Hank, this is 11. What are you seeing? What are you
Look at
seeing?
mine. Look at over here.
No, that's noodle fracture. You're seeing noodle fracture. Hank, you gotta look at the corners. This is...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can we pause here? Can we pause at layer 7 and 8 right there? So this actually is just a little bit of slide. It's like a, what's it called when tectonic plates slide over each other?
Subduction.
Subduction. These are two noodles that have subducted, because if you think about it, you layer lasagna with the noodles flush against each other. They absorb water. One's gonna subduct under
Okay.
there.
I can see
So
that
if you look at the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 noodles, and then one is hiding under the sauce.
8, 9, 10. You're right.
All right, cool. Well, hey, digging.
Is science happened though? Science happened to the lasagna.
Yes.
First time I ever had a meal that I was like, oh, like this is what it's all about. I was in Italy. I had lasagna at this little trattoria that you had to like walk downstairs to get into, and it had like 6 tables. And I was like, oh, what have I been doing my whole life?
Did it have a lot of layers? Did it have 11?
It didn't
or
actually
22?
have a lot of layers, but I love a lot of layers.
Same. This is the Americanization of it. It's like, build it bigger. God, this is my ideal. What's behind the corn dog?
Oh, I just love corn dogs. I think that like, you hear, first of all, amazing brand, right? Corn dog?
Yeah.
Corn dog.
It just rolls right off the
Yeah.
palate, you know what I mean?
We have a thing in Missoula, I don't know where else it is, called Viking. Have you ever heard of a Viking?
No.
It's like a meatball corn dog, like a long meatball stick corn dog.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, so
They
just-
deep fry the meat, wow.
The cornbread, yeah.
Eat the corn dog, eat the corn dog. I want to talk about more depressing things, but eat the corn dog. Do you smell the saffron?
That's a ridiculous hot dog. And I just think that, oh, it's spicy.
This is a food I've never experienced before.
And then the hot dog is very special.
This is just a special hot dog.
It's a special hot dog.
I think in life we need special hot dogs.
Oh, that batter is so good.
You made a video about an essay that you wrote
Sweating.
in 1990 for predicting what would happen in 2020. You made some good guesses. And you also thought that all diseases would be cured. We'd have alien technology. Et al. What are your predictions for 2050?
Great question. I think that you'll, on any day of the year, you will be able to see as far as every other day in the year in Los Angeles. So if you're in like a nice spot with a nice view, there won't be smog here anymore. The vast majority of power will be generated by solar, wind, geothermal, with maybe a pretty big slice coming from nuclear of some sort, hopefully even some fusion maybe. I think in 2050, they will definitely be back to the moon. I think people will still die of cancer, but I think way more people will die with cancer than die of cancer. One of the things about curing diseases is that everything you make better in terms of health increases the rate of cancer. The main risk factor for cancer is age.
Yep.
So every time you create a new cancer treatment, you don't decrease the amount of cancer in the world. You probably increase the amount of cancer in the world because it means 40-year-olds aren't dying and they're living long enough to get cancer later. And
You just look, if you ever see somebody brag, I follow a lot of nutrition stuff, and people always say, well, during this period where they didn't eat meat, nobody died of cancer. And then you look at tuberculosis rates in that, and it's like, well, that was clipping them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they weren't getting up there.
they didn't have a chance to get cancer.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a chance to get cancer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's absolutely. Now there's lots of problems to still solve, and like the speed at which we do that is all very important. But I am surprisingly optimistic about the future when you talk in that scale.
It seems like people right now are maybe more scared than certainly that I've ever seen them in my lifetime, but it seems like even compared to previous generations, do you think that fear is warranted? I know that's a loaded question.
I think we know a lot. And I think we're asked to care about everything sometimes, which I don't think we should. Like, that's a weird thing to say. Like, you shouldn't care about stuff, but you should care about stuff. But you should kind of pick.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, the world's very complicated and big. And to be like, I just don't know what to do about the garbage patch in the ocean. Like, I don't know what to do about all these plastics in the ocean.
I don't know what that is, and I'm not gonna.
I mean, you can know what it is, but also know that if it's a big deal, there are people working hard on it.
Yeah.
And if you want, you can figure out who those people are, and you can learn about them, and you can learn about that topic and get deeper. But if you just start out with the bad news, and then you move straight from that to the other bad news, and then the other bad news, and then the other bad news, and you never look at the people who are working really hard to try and actually solve those problems, then all you're doing is like being in a boxing ring with an unbeatable opponent.
Yeah.
And that sounds awful, right? It sounds awful to like be getting in a boxing ring with a professional boxer and being like, "Are you gonna take it easy on me?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
That's what it feels like when my social media feed is like, "Would you like to see every single problem in a row?"
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever explained this to our audience, but I had a really powerful moment when I started working here. We were talking earlier, I used to work in journalism, and I wrote a lot about a lot of the problems in agriculture and the food industry, of which there are many. I would write about the superbugs that could potentially take out our increasingly homogenized pig supply. They're all Yorkshires, bring on the Berkshires. But anyways, I would write about all this stuff constantly, and then I started working here, which was, mostly silly jokes.
Yeah.
And I had a terrible mustache. And all the fans said, your mustache is the worst thing in the world. And I said, well, raise $5,000 for No Kid Hungry and I'll shave it live. And they raised that within 10 minutes. And we said, we already told No Kid Hungry it was a 2-week campaign. And so we raised it to $10,000. They did that in an hour. I said $30,000, I will get a lower back tattoo designed by Rhett and Link for No Kid. I can pull it up. We got a mic back up. I'll show you during the break. We'll keep the cameras rolling. But I raised 300,000 meals through No Kid Hungry for underserved kids, and that was more objectively than I ever did of 5 years of doom and gloom writing that only made people mad. And I love journalists, and it's very, very important, but never underestimate the simple joy of making people happy.
The thing that holds the world together is people like caring what they like other people think about them, and caring and being thoughtful and caring about what happens to other people and also themselves. Like, we have to protect ourselves as well. And it's 8 billion people on a pretty big planet, but like not that big. And it like kind of works.
Real estate agents would call it cozy, quaint.
It's a fixer-upper.
A starter home. And for your dessert course, we have a coffee peanut butter milkshake, a little bit of fresh cocoa nibs on top. We have old-fashioned chocolate chip cookies, a little bit of Maldon salt on the top. We have some Darjeeling black tea right here, and then we have salmon candy. And you said, I love a meat dessert.
I do love a meat dessert.
You were implying that there is something called a meat dessert that is recognized by everybody in the general population.
Well, you know what I mean. It's a dessert that's made out of meat.
No, it's a meaningful term, but it implies that there's a prior knowledge
of lots of meat desserts. Have you ever had orange chicken? Like that's meat dessert.
Hank, have you been eating that after your entree?
Yeah, you should. Like it's like a little donut with meat in the inside.
Yeah, you're not wrong though, is the thing. But that's a lot of the Panda Express menu. Half that's dessert though.
Yeah. One of the first like fancy restaurants I ever went to was with my my mom's side of the family. I don't know why or where we even were, but we went out to this and it was like they had like a special room for us because there were so many of us and they put us all in there and then we ate food and at the end of the meal, this fish came out for dessert.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I put my fork in and I ate it and I was like, that's dessert. Like, I don't know, that's not what I, like, if you don't think it's made out of protein, but like it tastes like dessert. It was like flaky and soft and like extraordinarily candy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so
I'm in on meat dessert.
I want to try some candied fish.
Can I pour you some tea?
Yes,
do
please.
Do you take sugar?
I do.
All right. Tell me about the tea. This is just your general
I just love tea.
beverages?
I drink, so I don't drink coffee. I can't handle the caffeine. I feel like tea has been a thing for so long. There has been time to perfect it. Mm-hmm. That was one of the two things that were on my list that I cut were sweet tea and fresh squeezed orange juice.
We can do the director's cut later.
Yeah.
If you come back in a year, we'll do the full.
Yeah.
We'll have
Man, my last meal should have just been drinks.
Cookies are self-explanatory. Can you take a cookie? This is maybe one of the best
Oh
cookies
my God,
I've
it's
ever.
so soft.
It is soft and warm.
My finger went through the bottom. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. We haven't done anything better than that yet. Not like at the table, but as a species.
I agree. This is where we peak. We should just cut off humanity now. We will get no better.
Oh, that's a lot of cookie though.
We have proof of the concept of the smaller cookies outside, and then it was Nicole's executive decision, shout out to Nicole, that said 4 ounces. So these are quarter-pound cookies.
Oh my God.
That's how you get the wet in the middle.
So wet.
You asked people specifically when you were diagnosed to not send you, let's call them alternative remedies, and let you handle the care with your doctor.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are so distrustful of institutional knowledge?
Oh, well, and not everybody is. But like, I think there's a bunch to it. So like one, there's like, it's a mess out there. Like the healthcare system is not great all the time.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of treatments are unpleasant.
Sure.
And, I think that people are looking to their instincts sometimes, where it's like, this doesn't seem right. Like this can't be the way that things are supposed to go. There has to be something weird going on. Ultimately, like the body is just very complicated and things go wrong. Have you ever like even looked at a diagram of your knee? Because like I'm 43 years old and my knees still work. That's wild.
Yeah.
They've been knees for 43 years. Mm-hmm. You try to imagine like a car, 43-year-old car with knees still working? It's like a wheel, I can see that. It's just spinning, but like a whole knee. Like look at a diagram of a knee sometime. Put a diagram of a knee. Look at that. Now bring back some layers. There's more knee under there. There's so much knee. And that's the knee. It's not even that complicated.
There's too much knee per knee, I say. We need about 30% less knee.
Yeah, sometimes I think that might be good.
Yeah.
But like it can do all these things, like a twist, it can bend, it can like go, like it's wild. Like all this, the things that my mouth is doing right now, absolutely insane.
When we asked you what you wanted to promote on this show, you had study hall.
Yeah.
And then you also just said chemotherapy in general, which that's a first for guests.
Yeah, nobody's like shouting out, I want to promote a really unpleasant treatment for disease.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely had some people in my life and certainly on the internet who were like, are you sure you want to go that route? And I'm like, yes. So specifically with my cancer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really the only treatment, and without it, I would be on a very different path right now.
Hank, if you went down that very different path and you did die, where do you go?
Oh.
What is consciousness?
What?
Did you figure it out? I was hoping that you had just figured it out in the car before you came here.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. No problem. I think to some extent, I think it is for each of us to figure out on our own. I think that there's a piece of that. I think that there's a piece where it's like, okay to not know things. and like maybe some things aren't meant to be super known. You know, the way I see things is gonna be different than the way other people see things. But like, what was it? What Keanu Reeves said? Like, what happens when you're gone? He says,
People will miss you very
that
much.
the people who love you will miss you. And I think that like that's clever and that's fun, but I think it's also really true.
Yeah.
Like I think that's even the people that we don't remember from our ancestors, even people we aren't like closely related to, like all those people are in us in one way. Like every word that I'm saying was made up by a person. Every idea that we have like is a combination of ideas that have come before, and those ideas happened in people we don't know. And we're all made up of each other, and that's like a thing that matters to me.
I don't know you as cancer guy. I know you as meat dessert guy now, Hank.
I haven't had any of my meat dessert yet.
Eat the meat dessert. I'm going for the salmon
okay.
belly.
Ooh.
You can tell this is the
there
belly from
belly?
the striations. Yes, yes, yes.
He can tell it's the belly from the striations.
I sure can.
Oh yeah. I'll give you a little more sugar on that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry.
Wow, you're
Ashton,
so
you don't
strong.
It's all that French fries. And it destroyed my body, Hank. It destroyed it.
Oh no.
You ready to get in the lightning round?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Other than me, who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
Oh, my wife.
Oh, you act like there wasn't, like, John, you know?
Oh no. I mean, he's great.
Oren? Like, you know, no one, but...
I mean, at the moment,
It's okay.
I think that if Oren was like 21 years old or
Yeah.
something, then that like I'd really like that. But like, right now,
Not a great dinner guest.
no. I mean, we'd be watching Minecraft YouTube.
Oh, God. That is not the way that I want to go about
No,
my
yeah,
last meal.
no, yeah. And I think like we just got a lot more to say to each other, me and my wife.
What song do you want playing at your funeral?
All Star by Smash Mouth.
Oh, man. God, that's good. As a peace offering, what's your favorite Dave Matthews song?
Name a Dave Matthews song is the actual question I've just been asked.
That's more of a command. There's something about, no, because now it's a challenge for me. There's something about ants, right? It's like Red Ant or like Ant Farm.
No.
Alien Ant Farm did.
Alien Ant Farm is definitely a band.
Definitely bad. Oh my God, just listen to that cover today. Anybody, Dave Matthews song, one.
Crash.
Thank you,
God,
Tyler.
that seems like a real strawberry Pop-Tart answer.
What's your biggest fear?
That the cancer will come back, like the most present one.
Do you have any like deeper ones?
I'm worried that people don't like me.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I can't give you any guarantees of the cancer. I really like you, though. I really enjoy your company. Your general oeuvre is great. Is butt legs?
Butt is legs.
What's your greatest regret in life?
Do you agree?
I actually do for a very specific reason.
I knew it.
And wait, why do you know it? Do you know the reason?
No, well, just you think a lot about food, so maybe there's like a food reason. Like
It's a fitness reason.
oh, it's a fitness
It's a
reason.
fitness reason.
Okay.
Because you have leg day and you have not leg day.
Oh,
Butt is included
butt is
in
in
leg
leg
day.
day.
Yeah, yeah. But then from a food perspective, butt is shoulder.
Yeah, but if you look, imagine a horse's ass.
I am.
Where does the leg stop?
At the end of the ham.
It stops at
see
the
a-
top of the horse.
No, but I think if you peel back the skin, if you flay it, because if we're talking about horse is very
Now
common
imagine
in
a
other
horse's ass that's been flayed.
Correct. This is called butchery. I had to
Yeah.
butcher a whole goat for a GMM episode. They gave it to me in a trash bag. I put it in the trunk of my Civic and I went home and what's your greatest regret in life?
What's my greatest regret in life?
Pretty easy one, actually.
I mean, there was a time when I thought I told a girl that she was having a nosebleed, but it was a mole.
Yeah,
So I'd like to take that one back.
that's actually really great.
Yeah.
Really great answer.
I hope she's not watching.
Sorry.
We're still friends.
Finally, Hank, are you happy?
Oh, yes. I feel so lucky. I have such a weird, fun life. I have such good people around me. My son is so cool. My job is so cool. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Well, I'm happy to have enjoyed this meal with you and to have finally been introduced to meat dessert. It's going to change my entire paradigm, Hank, among all the paradigms you've already changed for me. But for real, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tell you to ask your last word. Hank, I'm sorry, man. It's Friday.
I know how
I'm
this show
trying
works,
to
and you
drink.
don't know how this show
We're going to
works.
the tiki
You're
bar
so
after this.
drunk.
Hank, if you're going to deliver your last words to that camera right there.
That was fun.
Thank you all so much for stopping by the Mythical Kitchen. We got new episodes out. Hank, you are bringing back Study Hall.
Yeah, Study Hall is a program that lets you go from watching YouTube videos to getting actual transferable college credit. Like there's a path to do that, just to lower the barriers to maybe going back, getting some education, or starting your transition into higher ed. You can find out more about it at gostudyhall.com.
Can I use it to finally graduate college?
No, it's more of a start out thing.
okay.
Unless you need like some early credits that you don't have.
No, it's a couple late ones. Can you just tutor me to help me finish college?
If you want, I think you're doing all right.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time.
This is very fun. This is a strange.
Wait.
Oh,
Can we see it on camera?
Oh my God, I love it. What does it say?
Oh.
No kid hungry. Okay.
Yeah, the sweat's kind of running down, but that was nice. And also it's a goat, because the baby goat's called a kid.
Hi everyone, I'm Meghan Trainor, and this is my last meal.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today we're joined by author, podcaster, and multi-platinum recording artist whose new album, Timeless, comes out on June 7th. Meghan Trainor, welcome to the show.
How did you memorize that?
I got a weird brain. Sometimes it works good and sometimes it doesn't. You have written some of the biggest hits of the 21st century, but more importantly, I think you've written the greatest pickup line in history. Are you Spy Kids? Now, Meghan, were you born? Were you born with that level of genius, or was that created through hard work?
Oh, you're good. You study and you memorize. You don't even slip up. Wow. Yeah, I had some liquid courage that night, and I had, I get so starstruck from everyone, you know, and especially back then, I was like a baby songwriter out here in LA, like trying to make it, and Spy Kids crashed one of the parties we were having. Like no one invited him, and him and his friend showed up, and I was like I knew, but I was like, "Are you Spy Kids?" And it worked, and we're married, and we have 2 kids. So.
Have you thought about your last meal before?
I think about my death a lot. Yeah.
Yes. Good. I think it's healthy and normal.
I watch a lot of those like death row meals too. And now I have kids, and I'm like, well, I have to live till I'm like at least 150. So I'm trying to biohack my body. Except the food I chose today is not gonna help me live longer. And I've been recently watching every episode you've done, and I realized like that nobody sits on this side. So I was like, let me be the first. Also, this is my good side, you know?
This is my better side.
This is my better side. That's right. I have 2 good sides, but this one, my good God.
Kind of set up this little dichotomy where you're talking about biohacking. I imagine that means eating ultra healthily.
Yeah, like in life, I don't get to eat any of these foods that we're about to have today. But
isn't that a bit of a paradox though, where it's like you want to live longer, but in doing so, you're making your life less comfortable?
Yep. That's why if I'm like, okay, if I get to know that I'm about to die, I'm gonna have all of this laid out in front of me.
So you would want to know your exact date of death if you could?
I want to go out like The Notebook, but I want to know more. I want them to be like, hey, you have until tonight, and I want to be 120, laying next to my husband and my kids all surrounding the bed with their grandkids, and we're all hugging. And then I'm like, you know, I get to say goodbye and look at them all, and then me and my husband go 3, 2, 1. You know?
I think you've done
That's the goal.
You've done so much manifesting through your music. You need to write that into
That's what my entire album is about. Thank you so much for asking. Timeless is about how I wish I was timeless. I wish I could live forever and love forever and have my family forever and ever.
And I hope you do. You ready
Thanks for bringing in my album. June 7th. It comes out tomorrow. Okay.
Meghan, for your first course, you know, we've had people request A5 Wagyu and caviar, but no. We have the barbecue twisted Fritos, the Snyder's hard sourdough pretzels, movie theater popcorn.
If you know, you know.
With extra butter. Please dig into the bounty and the feast here.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself. Oh, God. This was my entire childhood. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was a good snack, you know?
It is a good snack.
And it wouldn't be 1, it'd be 4, easily. And yeah, one time I ate, like the first time I had these, I was driving with my older brother, and we stopped at a gas station and got these. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. And then he was driving and looked over and was like, did you just eat that whole bag? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, don't do that. And I was like, but I just did.
They're scientifically designed for you to not be able to stop eating them.
Yeah, there's
I
something
remember
about 'em.
when these came out, you and I would have been kids. Like, these were a relatively new product on the market.
Oh yeah, hot in the streets.
On the streets.
And my stomach hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite snack of all time.
Is this like you're cozy on the couch, or you're eating this in the theater?
This has become a problem at nighttime with me and my husband, where we make our little tiny bowls of popcorn in bed while we're watching our favorite
Yes.
show. I've never, ever ate late snacks in bed, ever, until I met the love of my life. And it wasn't until we had kids. We never ate in bed.
Why is that just like the one? Dig in, please.
Oh, yeah,
I can't see
okay.
these.
I was waiting for
Okay,
you.
I'm going popcorn. No. It's your last
Oh
meal.
my God!
Oh, so much fire.
Thank you, chef. Wow. This is legit.
Our chefs really worked hard here. They drizzle the butter by hand.
I know. Was this like a hard meal?
Individually popped each corn kernel
They
with the
opened
hair
that bag.
straightener. They sure did. You seem like somebody who really values the idea of coziness and comfort. And one of my favorite songs off of Timeless is called I Hate It Here. That is going to be running through my head at every party that I don't want to be at. Was there one incident that inspired that song?
All of the LA parties I was ever invited to in my whole career, I sent my older brother. And I was like, you represent the Trainors and go ahead. And
That's
he
very
was-
medieval king of you. You like sent an emissary. Meghan sends
Yeah,
her
I'm
regards.
But it got to a point where when people would see me, they're like, oh, where's your fun bro? I was like, I got Ryan's at home right now, thank you. But that was like so great for me to have him. But then he became an alcoholic, and now he's sober for 3 years. Congratulations!
Mazel tov. The whole circle of life happened in you not wanting to go to a party. And
Oh
all of
my
that.
God.
This is the way I gotta dig into these.
Yeah, and this right here. When people were like, I like pretzels, if they showed me a skinny pretzel, I was like, that's not a pretzel, babe. This is a pretzel.
I want to say one of the things that I most admire about you is how cavalierly you talk about poop.
Oh, yeah, because
Because-
it's hard for me, obviously.
Fair, but no, you talk about poop a lot in your book, Dear Future Mama. And you tend to talk about a lot of gross things. You talk about a lot of things that people have a lot of shame about despite being incredibly normal and common, whether that's taking antidepressants while pregnant, whether that's having OCD as a kid and peeling all the skin off of your thumb. Things that everybody, well, it really affected me because I grew up with that sense of shame too. I had a lot of physical tics growing up, still do. I always thought I was weird. And apparently other people don't notice it. Similarly with a lot of things about shame. Why do you think it's so important to talk about poop?
Because I feel like I was poop shamed on accident.
Megan, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
You didn't deserve that.
I didn't. I like never pooped in school ever because I would have died. I felt like my body. I felt like I would have died if I did that. But and like going in public and like being I was 19, traveling the world. I remember crying because I like was so backed up, and because I was like living in an airport and living in hotels and living in public, and I was like, I can't poop here. But then, I'm not even. This is not an ad. Poopery saved my life.
Spike the camera. Poopery saved my life.
And they know. They send me some stuff. But I want to be more open about it and tell my body. I also learned that my body holds in really bad. I can hold it for like 4 days. And now my 3-year-old is holding in his. 'Cause he's
Generational
so
trauma.
scared. Generational trauma.
Megan, you can't pass that on.
I'm like, let it go, babe. Everyone poops, you know.
That's a new hit right there.
It's literally-
Where's T-Pain? Can we get a T-Pain feature
Okay.
on Everybody Poops?
Let it go, everybody poops. Yeah, that'd be really good.
I have a pitch for you. I think you and I can go in together on this. I've had this thought for a long time. You get Poopery, you get Sunsweet Prunes, you get the Squatty Potty, all on board for one big campaign. We call ourselves Shitfluencers. Try and destigmatize pooping. What do you say?
50-50. I'm in.
50-50? I'm in.
Wow.
I feel like the lawyers are going to be like, it's going to be 85-15.
Yeah, they're
Megan.
like, that's cute.
I want to talk more about...
Oh my God, I haven't had these in like 17 years.
Eat. I'm just going to stuff my face.
No, you keep talking. This is the loudest snack, though. I'm so sorry to the mic guy.
Wait, can I...
Christ. Oh my God.
You don't... I don't know
I
how
sound like a goat. It's messy. Like, yeah.
How much of your music for you
is a form of self-therapy. And you got a song called Bestie that is like very much this ode to not just self-love, but also like, hey, that toxicity is in there.
Yeah,
and we got to rewire it.
She's a bully. Wow, it's just alarming that you like know so much. It's so crazy. No one does their research. Oh my God, you know Bestie. Yeah, well, I like accidentally did it with All About That Bass. I like laughed writing that song because I was like, no one will put this on radio. No one will play this. No one thinks like this. And when it blew up and everyone learned the song, I was like, I'm not alone. Like people feel like that too. And I was like, duh. And then I saw years later, I'd be doing meet and greets and parents would come to me and say, hey, you're about to meet my daughter or my son. They wouldn't leave the house until you put your song out. And I was like, my 3-minute song that took me 45 minutes, got it. Like I have a superpower and I have a job to do. And my best friend told me one day, you're so good at like saying how we all feel, but something that we're not so good at admitting out loud, you know? So one day I'll be like, ain't no fish, you know? I'm like, man, relax, you know? But yeah.
These pretzels are too hard.
They're too hard to eat. They're all up in my teeth. How do you do this?
How has Timeless helped you rationalize your fear of death?
I feel like everyone nowadays has been close to or watched someone like even be told in 1 year, like you have cancer and then you're gone. And I've just watched like one of my best friends lose their parent in like less than a year, and it was rattling. And I wrote this song right after because I knew the album would be called Timeless because of my fear, and that was happening all at the same time. But I didn't want to write a sad song. I wanted to write like the wedding song, you know? I try to never just be like, here's a pure sad song. I try to relate it to as many people as I can, or flip it and be like, no, it's actually a love song, you know?
Yeah, I think that is something that's so incredible, especially on Timeless, is that so many of them are just flat out bops, right? And even the ones where you actually listen to the lyrics and it's like, oh God, this is confronting me with a bit of an uncomfortable truth that I didn't know about, but like, let's groove to it.
Yeah, when I played it for my label, they were like, that one's doing what it's supposed to do. And that's what I said. I was like, thank you.
You said that you haven't dealt with a lot of loss in your own life, but you did have a fan named Jaleesa that you posted about.
What are you doing?
I don't know, we're trying to make you cry.
How do you know everything?
But I know that you only laugh in uncomfortable situations, you don't cry.
My therapist says that too. How do you know about Jaleesa?
You posted about her.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. But no, did that give you any clues into your own grieving process?
It was horrific because I'm eating pretzels. Okay.
Eat popcorn, it helps.
She showed up everywhere. She was in the UK and she showed up everywhere with full glam all the time and was the nicest person to me. And we got to a place where we were friends and I was like seeing her everywhere. And it was like the only real big loss I've had in my life. And it was devastating. And it's just like,
I'm sorry. We were just supposed to eat Fritos.
It's okay.
Together.
We were just supposed to eat Fritos. No one said anything about her. Oh no. But I got read by the Long Island Medium, and she was like, "There's someone with like blue eyeshadow," and I was like, my team was like, "Jaleesa," like she would always come with full makeup on, and I didn't know that she was suffering like that. But then it like woke me up that like I don't know what any of my fans are going through. Like as close as we can be with social media, like we're all struggling and just trying to make it. And that's like what's so cool about my songs is that it can bring us together. But that was like the most horrific thing. And I reached out to her family and tried, because I couldn't make it to the funeral, but I tried to like at least pay for it and make it a little easier for them. But they were like, we're not gonna get to pay for a lot of things, so we would like to do this. And it was, it made me cry way more. And
yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
No, thank you. No, that was
Thank
beautiful.
you. So death doesn't make sense to me, yeah. And when I haven't gone to the UK in a long time, but I'm going soon, and it's gonna be different now, because usually she'd be there.
Do you sort of find yourself getting very emotionally attached to things in ways that you kind of wish you didn't, or do you want to let all of that emotion wash over you?
No, I'm an empath. I feel all, and Auntie Flo is here, so we've been crying for days. Yeah.
Eat the Fritos, Megan. The Fritos
All right,
make it better. The
Fritos.
Fritos make it better. You ready to get into the second course?
What else do you know about me?
Megan, for course number 2 of your final meal, we have a Dodger dog. This is actually from Dodger Stadium. Shout
That's
out
crazy.
to KG who went and grabbed it last night at the game. A large cheese pizza from Lucky's. And then
Love Lucky's.
we have a flight of ranch dressing here. We have your classic buttermilk. We have a basil pesto. We have a little bit of yuzu miso with chili oil. And then we have a tahini and cucumber ranch. My God.
Dude, Tom Hanks was so like fancy with his and mine is dogs.
Well, tell me about the hot dogs.
It's the only reason why I go to sport games. I love a hot dog. Pizza has been in my family. We're pizza eaters. Like that's. We also have this weird thing in my family where me and my younger brother, we look at the pizza and we're like, I get first dibs, and we study it and we go, this is the best piece, and I'll tell you why. You know.
If you could study this pizza right now and tell me which one is the best pizza, this is my version of the Long Island medium.
Okay. I got it. I think.
I also have mine. Point to it on 3. On 3, 2, 1, go. It's either a good sign or a bad sign.
Oh, are we diving in?
I think we should.
Jesus. Before he broke it apart, this is a perfect piece, and I'll explain. You get a little crunch down here. There's not too much sauce in the way. There's not too many things bugging you. And then up here you get clean cheese. It's a moment of clean cheese, clean piece, you know? Which will lead you to the delicious breakaway where you get to more sauce into a perfect crust. That is a perfect portion of crust and cheese together.
This is like a topographical map.
And
You're
it's
like, you're
an
coming
A
up the ravine,
minus because of this.
reach
Yeah.
the oasis, and then here's your ridge line, and then you get to climb the mountain. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
That's it.
You are an empath. Are you dipping in the ranch immediately?
No, I always take a clean bite first to
Interesting.
appreciate it and to be like, how is she alone? Oh my God.
That's really great.
My period is so happy.
So is mine.
Yeah.
We're cycled up. We're synced,
You cycled
girl.
up?
We did it.
Girl, we did it. Because that's pretty fantabulous. Mm-hmm. I need
I'll
the
switch it
farthest
to the
way.
normal
Yeah,
ranch.
yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't sick too. Okay, and then usually I will sprinkle Parmesan cheese across it if it needs it. This one's pretty fire. And a little ranch dip. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I didn't know about the ranch dip. Whoa, that's ranch.
I told my that's a Colby ranch.
I dance when it's good. That is good. I didn't know about ranch with pizza till I was like 19.
You just went
It rattled
multi-platinum.
me.
You just found out about ranch on pizza.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The night I won a Grammy, we all came home and ate pizza with ranch.
Get out of here.
Everyone else was out partying, and I was like, I will be
No,
making
you were
love to
in.
my pizza.
You were in partying, making love to your pizza. I want to ask you. Obviously, love your husband Daryl very much. Does it not bother you?
Yeah, I do.
That he is a serial killer.
Because he doesn't use dips.
Daryl, if you can shout and answer, I know you're listening.
Daryl, what's wrong with you?
I'm a plain guy.
He's a plain guy. Doesn't like any sauce, any nothing. Let me tell you what he eats at sushi. It's so disturbing.
Daryl, you're valid, by the way. This is all for laughs.
No, yeah, your feelings matter. You're perfect, and your choices are perfect. He gets avocado roll, so it's rice avocado, dry. That ain't even bad, because the avocado could be mushy. But one time at a restaurant, I was like, dip it. Touch the soy sauce. Dip it in. It might be better. And he was like, no. And I was like, just try it. And we got heated. And the waitress was like, you guys good? And I was like, no, we're not good. He won't try soy sauce. Yeah, I learned that quick. That was alarming for me. But this is when I got upset, is when he had a salad with no dressing. Just grass.
That's heavy.
That's leaves.
It works for cows. Cows are large
He's
and
a
live a long
cow.
time. And,
He's an animal.
they
I was like, please let me pour oil on it. Like, get something on it so it's a little damp. And he was like, I like it like this. I was like, makes no sense, but love him so much.
It is very evident. And you have to eat the hot dog. Eat the hot dog.
Okay,
I got to
okay.
stop yapping and we got to start
I'm a
eating hot
dipper, though,
dogs.
so I make a pile of
my
ketchup. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the ketchup farts. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a dipper. Like, this is gorge, but every bite has to have the perfect amount of ketchup. Is this my OCD? What is this?
No.
My brothers are like, what do you
preferences.
mean dip? I was like, every bite should have that much ketchup on it. Oh, God. There's nothing better.
There's nothing better than a tube of meat.
Oh, my God. I'm going to barf. This is going to hurt.
We've never had that happen on the show. We're very excited
Really?
for it. Yeah.
I one more bite.
Do you think differences in your and Daryl's relationships makes you ultimately stronger? Because you talked about getting into parenthood from sort of different directions, whereas you grew up with a mother who you said was so loving and made parenthood sound so fun. Daryl grew up without a father in his life and initially didn't want kids until he met you. Does that ultimately make you stronger as parents, or do you find friction within that?
We talked about it a lot because I was like, you nervous? You know, like he never had an example of what a dad is like. Since that baby existed, he has been like super dad. Super dad, super mom when I can't be there, super parent. His therapist told him, you're the parent that you always wanted and never had.
Yeah.
And he was like, his dad left them when he was like around 1, and his anxiety was creeping up crazy when Riley was turning 1, and he didn't know why.
Yeah.
And his anger and everything, and I was like, what's going on? Like, let's find the deeper meaning. And one day he never cries. He finally broke down like a real cry, where I was like, uh-oh, you good? Like, you okay? Like rubbing his back, like, what's up? And he was like, oh, this is the age that my dad left us. And I couldn't fathom leaving Riley ever, you know? A lot of stuff comes up for you if you have like, you know, a tough childhood, and you'll be okay. And you have kids that are that age.
Yeah. I have always, similarly, didn't have a lot of good modeling for parents in my life, and I've always known that I wanted kids, but I've always thought it was a bit of a selfish reason to try and right those wrongs. And so it's interesting in your book, Dear Future Mama, and like hearing you talk about how much you love your mother and how much you realized she struggled with a lot more than you knew that she did.
I thought she was super mama. I thought she had everything put together and like was crushing, you know, but I didn't know how hard it was. And so I never felt like my mom wasn't there or like that she was struggling ever. So my mom was super mom and made it seem so fun and effortless and easy that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be just like her. I'm gonna be the most fun mom, hopefully.
Do you ever see yourself having a little bit more anxiety because you put that pressure on yourself to be just like her?
My mom guilt is real and was there the moment he came out. Or the moment I was pregnant too, because I was on my antidepressants and was like, am I already messing up, you know? And I had gestational diabetes, so I was like, oh, I must have failed at something. Because I told the doctors, I was like, oh, I had a Pop-Tart, and I'm so sorry. Like, I did this to myself. And they were like, no, babes, it's genetics.
Yeah.
And then I found out my grandma had it, and my mom had it. And I was like, oh. Before my second pregnancy, I learned how to work out for the first time ever. That was incredible. And I learned how to eat healthier and enjoy eating healthier. And so I beat my genetics and didn't have gestational diabetes on the second pregnancy.
Hell yeah.
But immediately I was like, women are superheroes and being pregnant is hard. So I wrote that book to be like, you're not alone.
Megan, for course number 3, we got the California Chicken Cafe Chicken Caesar wrap with extra Caesar dressing on the side. And then, of course, these soup dumplings. Oh, get the facial in there.
Wow.
From Din Tai
I was
Fung.
wondering if they'd be hot.
With all of the chili oil, the black garlic, the soy, the ginger.
My belly hurts.
Yeah, I did take a mystery pill from your mom.
Yeah,
in
we got
between.
IB Guard. If you don't know about IB Guard, I'm not sponsored. It's a great pill that helps any tummy aches. It's magic.
Tell me about the chicken Caesar wrap. This is like a fantastic
It's a classic. Like, I love it. Have you seen? They be doing this now online. I saw this on the line.
On the line, the internet,
This is the internet.
the World Wide Web.
Showed people are making pizza with a chicken Caesar salad in the middle of it.
They're baking in the middle, or they're
pizza,
folding?
Caesar salad, pizza.
I love that.
And it looks like that should have been here.
You put a brownie in there and a boneless buffalo wing, and you got all 4 courses.
The brownie's out of place, but yes. Wow, to eat this, okay.
You get to.
I get
This
to
is
eat
your
this.
last meal. Never get to come back to
This
it
is.
again.
I am not eating anymore today. This is.
You and me both.
It's a wrap. Oh my god. I have like so many interviews after this. Here.
I know. Deep breath. Sort of a metaphor for overindulgence leading to lack of gratification.
You read so many books. You sound so smart.
Speaking of books, and dear future mama,
Okay.
no, you talked about the overwhelming joy of getting pregnant. You always knew that you wanted to. You cried in a diaper aisle in Target when you were 22. But then you also said, Megan, there was an overwhelming sense of fear that you had. 10 to 25% of known pregnancies end in miscarriage. How do you balance that immense joy with that immense fear? How do you not let the fear dominate and take over?
Every single night, I rubbed my belly and said, please stay with us. I was like, hey, stick around. We love you. You know, it's like, it's really tough. And my second pregnancy, I had friends that were pregnant at the same time as me, like go through a miscarriage at 8 weeks, you know, like right with me. And I was like, oh no, you know, and then, but no, that 12-week wait is the worst thing ever. And then when you get through it, it's the greatest thing ever. And they're like, you shouldn't tell a lot of people you're pregnant. I told everyone.
Yeah.
The second I was pregnant. But my second pregnancy, I got like a COVID vaccine and I felt so ill, like I had the flu. And I was like, oh, it must be that vaccine. But I was trying to get pregnant. And I got my period again. And I performed on Fallon. I performed Made You Look on Fallon. Mm-hmm. And I did a TikTok like, ugh, when you get your period during sound check. But in fact, turns out that I was conceiving a child.
You conceived your child on Fallon.
Yeah, I told
Daryl, where'd you guys do it?
Nope. It was it takes like days. It's like
sorry.
It's science. So it was like a week before.
Oh God. I was like, on that couch or
I thought it was a full period though. Mm-hmm. So then a month later, I felt horrible and I was like, dude, I must have the flu. Mm-hmm. And I took a pregnancy test and I was like, oh, like it lit up so fast. I was like, it's twin girls. I know it. Like it is. I am so pregnant. And then that morning I was like stoked, beaming of joy. I videotaped it. I did interviews and they were like, how are you? And I said, I'm thriving. Like I was so happy. And then right before my last interview, I looked down and I'm gushing blood. How's that for the food? Gushing blood. Like
where are we at on the scale of, okay, yeah. Can I get a close up?
I ruined a chair. I go, oh no, you know, and they were like, okay, Ryan Seacrest is on, go. And I go, oh my God, hey, Ryan. And he's like, how you doing? And I was like, thriving, you know, like never been so happy. And then did that whole interview, like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then got through it, shut the computer and was like, hey team, I think I'm miscarrying right now. Like in that moment. And I went to the bathroom and just like saw what was happening. And I was like, all right, I had a baby this morning and now they're gone. I was like, I'm just gonna keep testing. And the pregnancy stick still said positive. And I was like, well, that's mean, you know? Like, she's like, keep testing it, it'll say negative soon. And then I got a blood test done and it's like, the number is 0 if you're not pregnant. My number was 90,000. And I was like, it's twins. And they have implanted so aggressively in me that that's what the bleeding was.
They're like beta
girls.
fish. They're
yeah,
fighting in there.
I've never told anyone this story. First looks, I don't know. And then the baby's gonna be too small to see. So at 6 weeks, we'll wait for 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, I went in. She went in and goes, whoa, that's a 10-week-old baby. And I was like, I've been pregnant this whole time, you know? So I was pregnant ever since the Fallon performance. And I was like, we skipped a whole month, you know? But what a nightmare that was.
What an incredible nightmare.
What an incredible nightmare.
A beautiful miracle.
A roller coaster. Like, I told everyone in the household, I'm pregnant. And then later I was like, I lost it, you know? And it was horrific and then amazing. So Barry, my sweet number 2, my second sweet boy, who's a boy, I was like, are you not twin girls?
Yeah, 0 for 2 on that one.
He is incredible and amazing, and every time I look at him, I'm like, how are you here? You know, what a little miracle, and what a nightmare you were in the beginning.
I feel like that story is what like a new modern religion or cult would use as their national holiday. I think if you want to start that right now, and again, 50-50?
50-50.
We're going in.
2020.
Please, eat a dumpling,
Okay, but you got to do it right.
Okay.
Wasn't that wild?
That's an incredible story, and thank you for
heads up when you get knocked out with your wifey. Bleeding is maybe okay. Okay, so you got to do this particularly in a certain way. I don't know
do you bite the nip?
You dip this. You get this. You got to splash the vinegar on top first. Sorry, everyone who hates that. Okay, now that we have our vinegar, we may like bite a little.
You bite a little?
Bite a little and suck the soup. I said bite a little, dog.
I don't know. Oh, you like bite a hole.
The seal.
I bite a hole. Okay, well, let me swallow this whole like an oyster and then I'll start another one.
Oh,
It's down there. It's down there now.
Okay, you bite a little. Just a little bit. Did you put the
I didn't put
vinegar
the vinegar
on?
on. I'm so
Jesus.
sorry. I'm over here trying to memorize your life.
Crazy that baby survived. Okay, wait, just a little bite.
Oh, you like kind of get a little. Okay, well.
On the edge, yeah.
I'm-
This is what I do. This is just my method. Yep. And you get some vinegar with the soup.
That was nice.
There's got to be MSG.
There's got to be MSG in there. But MSG is good.
Speaking of good, I'm going to be performing good at MSG. That's crazy.
I'm gonna be there with a pocket full of MSG, and I'm gonna lick my finger, stick it in, and snack on it all night. That's incredible. You and I, MSG at MSG. How long has it been since you've gone on a full tour?
Over 7 years.
And you're bringing the whole fam, obviously.
Yeah, I'm bringing my boys, my babies. I have a rule that I don't go like a week without seeing them. I think they'll have so much fun on tour, especially my 3-year-old. Like, he loves trucks and buses and cars, and he's been telling everyone, like, I'm going on a tour bus. But literally last night, I was trying to explain to him, like, do you know what tour means? He was like, what tour means? And then I was like, remember the bus I showed you? He's like, yeah, cool bus. I was like, we're gonna sleep on that. And he was like, no. I was like, no, they're cool. They're like bunks. And then I'll put stars on your ceiling, and I'll have an astronaut shooting stars up on your ceiling because there's a ceiling, right? And he was like, no. And I was like, and there's a curtain, and you could see everyone. He was like, see everyone? Who's everyone? And I was like, well, there's gonna be me, Dada, Mama, like Kelly, Leslie, and I named everyone on the bus. And he was like, I don't want to see everyone. And I was like, it's like a sleepover. He's like, no, not a sleepover. And he's like, I don't sleep on bus. I sleep on chair. And I was like, chair? And he was like, I want to go home. And I was like, we're not even there. So then I was like, I'm going to cry soon. You're going to love tour. I might have explained it wrong. So, but I try to explain to him too, like, then you'll go to bed and Mama will go sing and dance on stage. And that's what I tell him my job is. And he's like, and everyone say yay to you. And I was like, everyone's going to say yay to me, like so loud. And he's like, they know say yay to me. And I was like, oh, they could. And he was like, no.
I like how your child either speaks like an alien or like an old
Yeah.
man.
He does. He does. His sentences, he's putting them together, but they're a little weird. They're so cute though. At night, he's like, "Can you tell me about my day, but know the end?" I'm like, "Know the end." It's so sweet and sad. I'm like, "Exactly, dude. Know the end. This will never the end." And I was like, "And that's what Timeless is about." Boom, brought it back.
Hit that plug. You ready for dessert?
Yeah.
One more, Megan. One more. Megan, for the final course of your final meal, we have the bowl of mini Charleston chews and then a simple peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What's more homey than that?
I killed it. Good God, this is my favorite candy of all times, and it's hard to find, which is a good thing for me because that is dangerous. And there's nothing better than a good PB&J.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything.
I don't
No,
have to say anything.
this is like the ultimate like comfort nostalgia.
What do you eat
thing
on
for
your
me.
last meal? Has anyone done it to you yet?
This whole thing started because
Because of you?
I cooked my own just as a funny one-off episode, and I couldn't stop talking about death while I was doing it. Like a carne asada burrito, shrimp cocktail, because it's the fanciest food I ever heard of when I was a kid. And then a whole loaf of garlic bread with ranch on the side, so ranch queens together.
Whoa, you're going out burping.
Going out, oh
That's
god,
sick.
yeah.
This was made with love. Thank you, whoever made this. Look at this fluffy white bread. I haven't had bread like this in so long. What's he ripping it for?
I have a weird tactile thing, right?
Sorry.
I love just ripping things, you know what I mean?
I was aggressive. I'm
Yeah, no, I love that you're comfortable enough to be aggressive now. Oh, no, you go. No, I've spent this whole time interviewing you. You go.
Please clip that, dude. We are the same person. We're gonna be great friends.
I think we are going to be great friends.
Where do you think people go when they die?
I don't think we go anywhere. It's incredibly bleak. I believe that consciousness is a evolutionary sleight of hand, a trick to make us believe that we're more.
Stop being so
good.
smart.
So, consciousness is like an incredible coincidence that we evolved so far past, maybe not even that far past like octopuses and dolphins, but enough to get us to fear our own death, which has made us build cathedrals and make Charleston chews and sing songs thinking that they're meaningful, but ultimately we're all just like animals braying at the moon until one day it goes night-night like it has for every other creature, the trillions upon trillions that has on Earth. I don't think humans are inherently special, and I think everything just goes black. What do you think happens?
Have you looked into it at all, or are you like, it's black?
I've looked into it a little bit. Some
fascinating things about the rush of dimethyltryptamine.
Oh, you're smart.
DMT, ayahuasca. That's why people do it.
Did you do it?
I've never done it.
I'm too
I
scared.
should do it.
I'll never do it.
You want to do it? No,
No,
come on.
dude.
50,
I can't
50.
take Tunnel PM. I'm
50,
scared.
50. Let's do it.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I
50,
promise I
50.
won't go with you. I can't. I took too many edibles one time, and my brain was like, never again.
Me taking too many edibles is also another reason for the show because it's the first time that
we
I
the same
got
person?
a death anxiety attack.
Me too.
I started crying and I couldn't move.
I had panic disorder.
Oh my! Was that you noticed that
50
from
milligrams.
edibles?
To a doctor, I was like, it's right here. I took 50 milligrams of edibles. I messed up. And I can't unclose it. I can't make it stop. And now I'm just having panic every day, all the time. And they were like, your chemicals are literally messed up right now, and we're going to bring it back. And that's why I started antidepressants, and I've never looked back.
Damn. Wait, but you think like the pot actually?
Well,
pot
like
in
my
70?
my first one ever was when I
Yeah.
accidentally, I literally had like a lollipop and was doing a puzzle. Forgot I ate the 25 milligrams of lollipop. Ate another one.
Mm-hmm.
I said, uh-oh, I'm not breathing anymore, you know? What happened? And Daryl's like, well, you're on your second. I was like, second?
Yeah.
That's simply too much. I usually would have like 5 milligrams on a day off just to do a little puzzle. That was a fun thing for me. Sad. And went too far and never looked back.
Do you remember the specific feeling or the specific fear when you were on those edibles that freaked you out about death? Like, do you ever access that, or do you try
I've
not
never
to?
ever wanted to die ever, and
Yeah.
I'm like so scared of having life cut too short. I watch a lot of Dateline. Love Dateline. Every
stop
night.
it, stop
Stop it.
Can't be good for you.
I can't go to bed without listening to it. It's so bizarre. It's like lullabies, you know, and
Yeah.
they're like, they found her in the kitchen. But well, my dreams. This is why I went on a ghost hunt. I really want to see a ghost in person. Everyone's claiming they're happening because then I could be a ghost and I could stick around and haunt my kids.
Yeah.
Then I know it's real. I went to like a haunted mansion. I did the whole thing. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I stayed up till 4 a.m. I was like, come get me, big boy. And nothing. Nobody got me. I was like, scratch me. Nothing.
Ghosts hate being called big boy.
Yeah, I think I
They're
wasn't
just like-
afraid enough or something, or I was like, why am I not open enough? You know, so
Maybe they were nervous. They're like, oh shit, is that all about that bass girl?
Yeah, they're like, love yourself. No, I would love that so that I can have some proof or something. I need proof. That's my problem. I need
Yeah.
like scientific proof, and there is nothing, and that's the worst feeling ever.
I was going to ask you if you think fear and love are inherently coupled because you've said to Daryl, I believe, if you die before me, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you.
Oh, yeah.
I say that to him. How do you know that?
I am the Long Island media.
Wow.
Rips off
Yeah. How do you know? I say that to him like every day. Yeah.
Do you think that fear gets in the way of love, or do you think it's a necessary part of it? Because if you love
it
something,
gets in the
obviously,
way of my love sometimes. That's why I was like, I want to live timeless. I want to like live like it's not scary and be here forever. I always say like if someone had a potion and they were like, drink this and live forever, I would, instantly, no problem.
kind of how I watched my own grandma pass, and this is the first time a family member has died that I've actually felt real closure and grief. She was surrounded by every single person that she loved.
That's what I want.
She shed a single tear.
Stop it.
Said I love you, and then her heart.
Stop it.
It happened. No, what I'm saying, that's
Great.
That's great.
That's not great. I'm sorry. But
No,
like,
it is great. It's like
that's
100% great.
That's the way I want to go.
That's what I did right when she died. I went, mwah!
Good job, Grandma. I am so sorry for your loss, but like, yeah, that's my dream out.
What do you think happens after you die? If you had to like really put money on it right now.
This just sucks.
It's the worst. I hate it more than you do. I host it.
Oh, it's gonna be all over my teeth. What do I think when I die? I really hope it's not all black lights out. Yeah, I just hope I can somehow communicate with my kids forever.
Yeah.
I hope I haunt them forever.
You already getting lightning rounds?
A lightning round.
There's a lightning
yeah,
round.
did I answer everything?
Who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
Whoa,
Yeah, choose
I'm not
one.
good at lightning rounds. Let me think.
I'll let
That
you
I would
say
share my
this
last
is a
meal
lie.
with? My family. Is that an answer? My hubby, my kids.
You had to pick one.
Next one. That question sucked.
What's your desert island condiment?
Condiment? I get one Chipotle. Mayo.
Who would want to dance off? You or T-Pain?
T-Pain.
Yeah,
He's so good.
He's
He
so
does
good.
this thing. Oh, I would love to know how to do this thing.
I was about to try, and then I was like, no,
No,
don't.
no.
I can do like the Shaq cat meme. You know, that's it. Where it's the cat
Yeah.
like Shaq. That's all I got.
Yeah.
What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
I never thought about that. I guess, yeah, I do want a party. I don't want a funeral. I don't want to be buried. I want ashes, and I want them spread out into art pieces on my kids' walls.
Sick.
Yeah, you know, when they can put them in resin and make it look like an ocean.
Yeah.
But I don't like the beach, so it might not be that. It might be like a sunset. That's the plan.
People call you bubblegum. That's metal as hell.
That's so rock and roll.
So metal, dude.
I want party. I want a full party. All the hits, all the upbeats. Play all of my songs I've ever written.
Let's speed them up to 2 times.
Yeah.
All right. What's the hardest goodbye you've ever had to say?
To my kids this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I say my Riley boy is getting to that age where he's like, nah, like full meltdown, and Daryl's like, why do we say goodbye? And I was like, well, just in case, you know. I'm like, we don't know if we'll come back today, you know. That's how I live, so it's bad.
She choked on a Charleston chew
Yeah,
on a YouTube
we don't know
show.
what this day's gonna be. It's a long one.
What's your biggest regret in life?
I have like a person or two I regret
Name them.
hooking up with, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Finally, are you happy?
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm too happy. That's why I'm upset. I'm so happy that I'm afraid. Like, it's too good. What's going on?
I get it. Everything's gonna be fine. I didn't mean to cause the panic attack. There's no pot. It can't hurt
I
you.
live like this. It's not even you.
Megan, thank you so much.
Thanks for the bellyache. Thanks for the IB guard. And thanks for the most intense conversation I've had in a long time.
No, that means a lot to me. Thank you for being so complimentary, and thank you for letting me eat 6 soup dumplings, even though they were supposed to be those. Megan, if you want to deliver your last words to that camera right there.
We'll be with my family, and I'll be like, I love you, because I'll be 120.
I like that your accent kind of changed a little Forrest Gumpy.
Yeah.
I love you.
It'll be dust. It'll be just dust coming out. I love you. Single tears.
Brought to you by Metamucil. Megan, thank you so much. You were truly awesome. This is
Let it go.
incredible.
I want poop.
Shitfluencers for life.
Shitfluencers.
Shitfluencers for life. That's incredible. And thank you all so much. Everybody check out Megan's new album, Timeless, out on June 7th. And then you got a whole tour coming up.
How do you know?
Incredible.
September, October, everyone come. The Timeless Tour. It's going to be great. We got Natasha Bedingfield, Chris Olsen, Paul Russell, and my older brother Ryan. He's a DJ.
Hell yeah. I'll be there. I'll be at MSG, eating MSG. I'll be at the Forum eating, I'm not going to lie, probably like a nachos. There's nothing wrong with the Forum.
Oh, I can't stop burping. Okay.
See you all next time.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Serge Tankian, and this is My Last Meal.
Every person has exactly 2 things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today's guest is musician, activist, visual artist, author of Down to the System, and inventor of the world's greatest pizza combination, pepperoni and green peppers, mushrooms, olives, chives. Serge Tankian, welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. Your music has had so many profound effects on me, but maybe the stupidest effect is thinking that chives would be a much more common pizza topping than they actually are. So thank you for that. I would go to pizzerias when I was a kid and be like, he must know something that I don't. I see chives nowhere.
Right. Yeah, I have no idea why chives came into the lyrics there. I think it was just trying to put something with one syllable.
Yeah.
Mushrooms didn't work.
Yeah,
you know?
scallions.
So, yeah,
you know.
yeah, it was just a little, yeah. So,
You have an incredible cafe called Kava Cafe in Eagle Rock. It is right next to one of LA's oldest pizzerias. I'm just saying, if you did a pop-up called What a Splendid Pie with Casabianca, I think it would be really cool, and I would be the first person.
that's a
in line.
fantastic idea. I'm gonna walk over and see. Yeah, that's a great idea.
How much does food play a role in your life? Like, has food always been something important for you?
Yes, because it's what you put in your body, so it's very important in that sense. But I didn't really come to that kind of awareness until later in life, and went through different kind of fare selections over the years. I was telling you earlier, in 1997 when we first started touring, I stopped eating meat altogether, and because my body rejected it. And on tour, you know, you don't necessarily get the best of food, especially when you're a young band going in a van and all that. So, and then I was vegetarian for 10 years, then I became pescatarian for another 10, 15 years, and then I just started eating meat about a year ago again.
Wow.
And it was a crazy kind of, thing where you actually look at a menu and you're like, I can order anything.
It's open
Like,
again.
yeah, it's like opening. It's very interesting.
You also had the very unique experience of having Anthony Bourdain give you crap for being pescatarian.
Totally.
Which, how did that feel?
That was awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you the Bourdain story. So in 2016, I want to say, we were in New Zealand with my wife, and we were watching his show, and she's like, he hasn't been to Armenia, he's gone to Georgia, he's gone to Russia, he's gone to all these countries. And she goes, why don't you email him and ask him why he's not going to Armenia? I'm like, oh yeah, why don't I just email him and ask him why he's not going to? And she goes, why don't you? She goes, he likes rock music, he might respond. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. So I reached out to a friend of mine at William Morris, my friend Dave Worshafter, and I'm like, is there any way you can get me Anthony Bourdain's email? Because he's got to go to Armenia. Like a joke, you know? He goes, let me see what I can do, and he sends me an email. I'm thinking this is bunk, right?
Sure.
So I write an email saying, hey, my name is Serj Tankian. I have this band called System of a Down. I don't know if you've heard us, but I love the fact that you are a talking head, but you're a no bullshit talking head. Like when you don't like something, you say it, whether it's food or politics or whatever. You're the real thing, and I appreciate it. I said, but you've only made one mistake. You haven't been to Armenia. If you go, I got your back. Guy responds in 10 minutes, and I'm thinking this is a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like this can't be him. I'm like, this can't be him. But he literally said, you're on. I'll have my producers reach out to you soon. And I'm like,
Damn.
yeah. And he did, and we kind of planned the whole trip to Armenia, and it was an incredible, incredible journey for me. We sit down like this, and the first question he asks is, so, you're born in Lebanon, raised in Los Angeles, lived part of the year in New Zealand. What percent Armenian are you? Like, where is home? And I'm like, that's like the hardest. Oh, I did it again. That's like the hardest question.
Yeah.
But we had a really, really great time, going through the country, and he was incredibly astute, as I thought he would be, regarding geopolitics, regarding the importance of the awareness of the Armenian genocide, food as well, of course. But I love the fact that food was a gateway to bigger things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never about food. It's about the hands that made the food. It's about the region where the food was made. And I think so many of us in food and storytelling are like really living in Bourdain's shadow. And it's a shadow I'm very happy to be in, because what a hell of a shadow that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Serj, for the first course of your final meal, we have chi kofta. I believe this also goes by the name kibenaya in different cultures, very popular in the region. We have the Armenian version. This is chopped raw beef in the tartar style, mixed with bulgur wheat, a bunch of spices and herbs. We got the lavash bread and some pita. Man, nothing wakes you up in the morning like a big old pile of raw meat.
That's right. My mom used to make this every Saturday. When we were kids in Lebanon, and it reminds me of that. It was a special treat, it's not something you have every day, obviously. So it is reminiscent of that for me, and my dad loved it, so that she would make it on Saturdays.
That's beautiful. Can I serve you up?
Sure, yeah, please.
So did she make this like in the Armenian tradition, or was it influenced
it's
by
actually
Lebanon?
Lebanese. It's a Lebanese dish, not so much an Armenian dish, but yeah, thank you. She would make it the flat way mostly. No, actually, she would do it that way.
Yeah.
The little grenades, meat grenades.
I think meat grenades is a much better name for it. It's funny because...
Oh, that's good. Ooh. Really good.
Let me dig in. Does it taste like your mom's?
It does. Compliments to the chef.
You see so many very similar dishes around that general region, the Middle East, the Levant, through North Africa. You've traveled the world. Have you noticed that, like, the idea of countries' borders don't necessarily reflect anything about the actual cultures they're in?
Most borders are actually created post-major wars, right? Based on conquest or based on defense. It's not a universal thing. If it was, animals would respect it. Sure. Trees would respect it. I'm an Irish tree, or it's definitely a human construct, and I'm not a giant fan of borders. Although unless someone's trying to kill you and invading you in that sense, and you have to protect yourself. In that sense, I'm a fan of borders.
Yeah. The current sovereign borders of Armenia are a very precarious position, sandwiched between Turkey and Azerbaijan, which both have very antagonistic relationships to. A lot of your life and also your book and your work are devoted to telling the story of the Armenian genocide. In your book, you do it with a very loving tribute to your grandfather Stepan, who survived against all odds a death march to the Syrian desert. You said that his story is inextricably woven into the fabric of yours. Does that manifest as a sense of duty for you to tell it?
Good question. No, I don't think. I mean, I did promise him before he died that I would help spread awareness about the genocide and what he went through, and millions of people went through in terms of the horrors that they witnessed. But I think it's just more in understanding your own story by going backwards to your ancestors and seeing what they went through and why you do the things you're doing. Because, my mom was his daughter, my grandfather's daughter. So the way she was raised has a lot to do with what he went through. And she raised us and the way we're raised. So there's the connection, right? It's understanding that. It's understanding yourself as a part of that beautiful puzzle.
Speaking of survivors, you quoted Holocaust survivor Primo Levi in The Drowned and the Saved in your book, where he says that the one signifier of whether or not somebody survives is simply luck. There's no use in trying to find commonalities between people's fates. Does that give you solace? Does that frighten you? Or do you simply not dwell on it?
The aspect of luck in avoiding a calamity is really scary, right? You hear about people that don't get on this one particular flight because they were running late, or they had an inkling of some type, or they felt sick to their stomach. Something happens, and you're just like, well, is that luck? Or was it intuition? Was something holding them back? Yeah, there is randomness in the universe, obviously, but that idea that luck can be a determinant of a calamity or bad luck can be a determinant of such, it is a scary thought.
Is there anything in your life that has made you make sense of that luck? Or made sense of the universe in terms of there actually being an order, there actually being some sort of rhyme and riddle to all this?
I think the more you're aware of your own vision, of what you're meant to do every morning, kind of focus on it, the universe conspires with you to make that happen. The less you are aware of it and you walk a path of, I'm just kind of walking kind of thing, then life becomes haphazard. I really believe in that.
You described this in the book, the tension in System of a Down, that you were an activist first and a rock star second, in a band with rock stars first and activists second. Do you ever regret that relationship looking back, or were you always walking the one true path that you were always supposed to?
I don't regret any relationship, honestly. Yeah. I feel very charmed and grateful to be where I am in life, and everything happens for a reason, right? So, the yin and yang of that pull between the priority of music versus activism is a beautiful thing for a band, because what it does is it creates this tension, and that tension is within the music. It's within the songs, the start and stop, the is this too political, is this not too political, for a band to just have everyone agreeing on everything, it makes the music kind of vapid.
Yeah. Do you think we're at an all-time high point of vapidness in music? Because if you look at the history of rock and roll in terms of protest and activism, right? You can go back to Vietnam and all the great bands that came out of that era. You can talk about the punk explosion during Reagan. Then you had people like System and Rage Against the Machine during the Bush era. What does that sound look like in 2020? Am I simply too old to understand what it is right now? I don't know, man. You might be more plugged in than I am.
No, I'm not sure I am. But my friend Tom Morello always says, bad presidents make for good music, good rock music. So
we've had no shortage.
No shortage, indeed. Yeah.
It's funny because I, was first exposed to not only System of a Down, but it was one of the first times I was exposed to radical politics. I grew up in a deep red area in Orange County, and it was listening to 106.7 KROQ, and I heard the lyrics, "Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?" And I'm, probably 14 years old in the car and going, my dad was poor and he had to go fight in Vietnam. Oh. And so it's kind of this big awakening, and a lot of that was simply because it was on the radio. I don't know that I ever would have been exposed to it.
Right.
Do you think we lose something when we don't have heavy music that's so intrinsically tied to activism and protest in mainstream sources like that?
I think the idea of curation is something that we are losing because of the whole streaming world of music. And, whether it's through radio or other means, even just walking into a record store and talking to someone about, if you're a fan of punk music, and you walk in and you hear a punk song, you're like, oh, I've never heard this, who is this? And they tell you about it because they're fans of it and whatever, they're playing it. I think that we're missing that now, And I don't know if streamers are going to be able to digi-curate their way through it, to be honest.
Yeah, you end up with a lot more niches, which is awesome for the people who fall into those, and I've certainly fallen into my own, but it seems like the days when a band as heavy as System of a Down would play on SNL, what a distant memory that feels like. And I also don't know if you did fellow heavy bands any favors by getting banned from SNL. That maybe didn't help going
That
forward,
didn't help.
but,
Well,
yeah.
that was Darren.
That was Darren. That was Darren's
And he
fault.
just gave it a loud, and yeah, but, it's just, when you're an artist and you do what you do, and then they change your environment and say, do what you do with cameras on and all of that, you're still gonna do what you do. Like when you're feeling it, you're feeling it,
I want to talk about, your activism in System of a Down. There's the issue of potentially alienating fans, all that, but then there's the actual issue of you putting yourself in physical danger. You played a show in 2005 after going to protest at Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert's office for once again blocking a bill to recognize the Armenian genocide, and you learned that Turkish intelligence had been tracking your movements. What were your emotions like on stage, thinking there may have been a sniper trained on you?
I was scared as shit.
I bet, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, for a good part of that tour. And the reason that we knew that is because my head of security detail had friends in the FBI who had kind of given him a flag saying that this is happening, just so you know, because of that action, because we went and visited, at the time he was the Speaker of the House at U.S. Congress, Dennis Hastert. He was later indicted for, he used to be a wrestling coach, so he was later indicted for touching young men, let's say. But not for
Not
the
the
bribes,
first, wouldn't
not
be
for
the
the
last,
bribes that he allegedly took from various sources for kind of blocking the vote for recognition of the Armenian genocide because they thought it would come through at that time. The politics gets in the way of music and life sometimes. And there are many times that I've been on stage playing a show and there is so much other, not personal stuff, but security issues or whatever issues that you have to kind of work through. And it is really difficult. It does add something to the music, though, because you're not playing folk
Playing
music.
a much higher tempo at that
You're
point.
playing a faster tempo. You're just like enraged, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, so if something's gonna get me, I'm gonna, run around like I was going left and right like a ping pong.
People must have thought you were on drugs at that point. Like,
Probably. But it does add something to the music, this tension, this thing. But yeah.
It seems like you almost talk about your commitment to the truth as being a little bit of a curse, in essence. You use the phrase naive a lot to describe your commitment to the truth. Do you still think it's naive, or do you think it's almost an inevitability? Like, as an artist, you must tell the truth no matter what.
My drummer was also my brother-in-law in the band. Not my brother-in-law in the band, but brother-in-law in real life.
It's like having a work wife. You have a band brother-in-law.
Kind of, yeah. So my drummer-in-law, that's what I call him, John. He always says, "Man, you're just stubborn,"
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is, that I won't give up the truth. It's one thing I am stubborn about, but I think it is inevitable. When you're dealing with, you can't. I can't imagine myself ever saying publicly something that I don't believe in. Like that to me is death.
Yeah.
Not physical death, but just reputational death, or just that's not me, right? Like, so it's got to be truthful, but that doesn't mean it has to be critical truthful. It doesn't mean it has to be painful truthful or antagonistic truthful, so that took me half a lifetime, if not more.
Serge, for course number 2, we have the tabbouleh, lovely herb, and bulgur wheat salad. We have each, there's another bulgur wheat salad, although more Armenian bent with some tomato in there. And then we have manti, delightful dumplings stuffed with beef, a little bit of yogurt, and Aleppo pepper on there, and a tomato sauce. Can I dish you up?
Yes, please.
Please tell me about the food. Where does it come from?
I mean, tabbouleh is pretty, it's everyone knows it. It's Middle Eastern Mediterranean. Each is, I think, uniquely Armenian. And I've had it since I was a kid. And manti, I think, is also Armenian. Manti takes a lot of time to make.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother and my mom would work together making manti, and in the last few years my mom's hands, through arthritis and stuff, she hasn't been able to do it, and so she hasn't been making manti, but she used to make really good manti. And she even used to make me vegetarian manti at one point when I wasn't eating meat.
Yeah.
And she'd put in soy meat or as long as you put enough spices, I've realized, enough onions and spices, you can make anything. tastes really good.
I think that's the ultimate first generation immigrant story to America is be successful enough so your son decides to disgrace your cooking by becoming a vegetarian. That's beautiful that you've given her that gift, Serge.
That was beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Please dig in, man.
Thank you.
We got the Monty from Monty Factory because we figured their whole factory devoted to it. They make it a lot better than we would.
Right. Amazing each. You guys made that in-house?
We sure did.
My compliments.
We do actually have one more surprise dish for you if we could bring it out. It's something you didn't ask for, but something that I would have been remiss.
Whoa.
Do you know what this is?
No.
Do you know what this material is called?
A pot?
Some would call it terracotta.
It's a banana terracotta pie
It is
with
indeed
Nilla wafers.
banana terracotta pie. You talked about how much tension there is.
And how it doesn't look like terracotta because every time I see terracotta, it's like multiple colors, but that is a terracotta.
We had five.
I've never had a banana terracotta pie.
And now you can.
We'll have it.
No, we'll have it for dessert. We can save it for dessert.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
If you want to use this as like appropriation for your next visual arts piece, you absolutely can. I think
might
you
have
should.
to.
How many people have asked you about that lyric or thought that it had something very deep entwined with it?
A lot of people actually ask me, they're like, what? The F is banana.
Well, the bananas are a metaphor, and the terracotta you see is the globe around. But no, it's just
No, whatever. I mean, it's Dada-esque basically. I like creating relationships between things that don't have a pre-existing one. I was thinking of banana. I don't know how it even came up in my head, but banana terracotta pie. Like I'm thinking, okay, so this is a banana. Where is the terracotta? Like, what does that have to do with the price of beans, right? So it's kind of what I do remember is our producer Rick Rubin. At first, he was just like, when we were playing it in rehearsals, it was just the song. I can't even say he didn't like it at all. Like he was just like we'd play it and he'd just be like, what is that? Like he would just be like. By the time that we actually went through recording it and he had heard it enough times, he said it's one of my favorite songs on the record. I can't imagine putting out this record without this song. It's one of those that just kind of hassle you into loving it,
It's funny because you have Dada-esque lyrics like Banana Terracotta Pie, and then you have incredibly literal lyrics where you are quoting peer-reviewed studies on the efficacy of drug policy. Do you think within that tension and juxtaposition that like the silly makes the heavy heavier in a way?
Yes, it makes it more palatable. Because if you just preach, no one's going to listen. But if you're laughing, if you're doing, like you gave the prison song as a great example, and then Darren comes in with his kind of funny, buy my crack, my smack, my bitch, whatever. And he's just like funny, It's like, and then, so it takes, suddenly there's a light mood, and then boom, 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 serious, light mood, It's like, same with the music, fast, slow, fast, or heavy and mellow, whatever.
When faced with the question of can music change the world, I thought you said something really insightful, that music changes your emotions and your emotions can override logic, or your feelings can override logic, and that logic is what can change the world. It was funny because I had just heard you talk about music changing your feelings changing logic, and I was looking at one of your paintings called The Tortoise recently, which you score all your own paintings, and it's really sick. You guys gotta trust me, it's really sick. You scan it with an app, it starts playing.
Yeah.
It's incredible, but I'm staring at this abstract painting, and the score starts out, kind of folky, stringed instrument, some kind of chanting in the background. It feels very, very reverent, very calming. And then it slowly sort of ramps up with a bass line. When the bass line kicks in, you physically feel your brain chemistry changing as you're staring at this picture. And then a little bit of electric guitar, it's kind of chopped and screwed, a little glitch hoppy. And you can like physically feel your eyes move around the painting in a different way, but it was such an incredible microcosm of feeling the way that your emotions, your feelings change in digesting art.
Yeah, I mean, for years, before I started painting, I always wondered how it would be to score paintings, like other people's paintings. And one day I just decided to just paint myself. And my first painting, which is called Disarming Time, basically had the first measure of the music painted on the canvas, like with musical clef and the notes. I used clocks without arms to denote the notes on the actual canvas, like we had a musical sheet, like huge painting. And I loved it. I loved the experience, but I also liked the painting itself. Like had the output been bad, I would have never continued. I now have over 120, 130 paintings that I've done, all musically scored. And it's really fun because you see people walking into a gallery, either with headphones or not, and they, we use this app called Arlupa, which is made by a tech company in Armenia, actually. And it's an optical recognition app that recognizes the painting and just starts playing the music. And you just see people really getting deep into it because, the more you interact with multiple senses through art, the more of a stronger influence, a potent influence you can have. So my goal is one day to interact with all the senses with a work of art. So you walk into a room and you get this unique feeling, this unique existence, and then you walk into another room and it's a completely different feeling. I like that.
I like that. If you need a consulting chef on the taste portion, Sarah, just come find me. My rates are incredibly affordable.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll
pay you to do it.
I would love that. Yeah. They got to eat the painting, though.
Yeah. I'll be the first taste tester to see if it works out.
Cool.
One of your earliest songs that ended up on the titular album System of a Down, but was actually written for a precursor of a band called Soil, was about your friend Paul, who had taken his own life. And you've had a couple other people in your life, Anthony Bourdain, Chris Cornell. You said there's a line that sort of haunts you. It's for reasons unknown, I believe.
Undefined.
Or for reasons undefined. Have you defined any of those reasons? Like how do you make sense of the senseless through art in that way?
I don't think I've been able to define it. A lot of people say that, depression is a disease, obviously, and that, once you cross a threshold, then don't expect logic to interplay, with anything like that. Paul was my first friend who had passed away through suicide at a young age, and it really, really hurt me. And, it was a whole gang of friends that we had, and it really, really, just threw us all off, because we were all, young and partying and having a good time, and then that happened, and it just, it changed our lives.
You told a story about him doing donuts in a friend's car that he borrowed, and that took me back to almost an exact moment that I had with a similar friend.
Oh, interesting. Did your friend pass away?
Yeah.
Suicide?
Yep, suicide.
Sorry.
When I was, I lost touch with him, but it was when I was probably 25, but we all found out, and it was just funny how similar he seemed to Paul. That kind of, it started funny, some extroverted, some light drug use, turned heavier, turned darker, and none of us knew what to do watching that slide, but we could all sort of see it happen. Do you think there is any sort of prevention? Like, could you have looked back at your relationship with Paul and said, here's something I could have done, or is that a pointless route to go down?
It was after high school and stuff, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, so he wasn't, in our lives, my life. But I wish that I did know, and I don't know if it would have made a difference or not, but I think it's always worth a try with a friend, especially, a close friend. I think when you feel hopeless, the most dangerous thing for a human being is hopelessness, I think, and when you feel hopeless, then you see those doors closing, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the most dangerous thing as far as what we're talking about. And, experiencing it with Chris Cornell, who's also a dear friend, and I had just seen him months before, and he had a lot of dreams. I, talked to him about, his work, and he wanted to, he was touring with, Soundgarden, his own stuff, the solo material, the acoustic material, and I said, man, you got to do something with an orchestra. You got to sing with. I'll help you do the string arrangements or whatever you want. I'd love to help you because I want to hear your voice with an orchestra. We talked about that. He had a covers album in mind. Like, he had a lot of plans. Which is why I can't understand, right? When you have a lot of plans, you don't just shut them down in one day. Right? It doesn't make sense. Still undefined for me.
It sucks that we almost view it as a necessary or at least inevitable tax to pay, both in music and in food. I mean, it seems like watching you and Bourdain together, it was like you were kissing cousins, right? You seemed like brothers who had known each other for so long. But suicide and depression seemed like this thing that we just sort of assume is like, oh, well, they made great art because they were depressed, or at least they were inextricably linked. Bourdain was the first celebrity death that really hit me hard because that was all the stuff that I was chasing, right? I had him as a North Star that was like, if I could achieve that life, travel the world, tell stories, meet interesting people, eat the best food, then I would be happy. And I think it broke a lot of illusions for people in the food industry. Do you think that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when we view those things as linked, emotional strife and great art?
Possibly. I mean, I've always, it's kind of funny because Darren in my band, he's always been the guy that says, he has breakthroughs through, difficult times. Like for him, there are people, I have other friends, amazing artists that live in that world where they think that there's got to be struggle to create great art. And there's a lot of truth to that as well. But in my case and in my life, that hasn't been the case. I think creativity is something that you do. Cooking is something that you do.
Yeah.
And if you do it enough, you become badass at it. You just do it because you're meant to do it, and it's your art, and it's beautiful, and you don't have to cry over it. Sometimes certain things you do have to cry over, and maybe that's your way of getting through that tunnel, right? Which is also beautiful, but not everything has to be gloomy and doomy.
Search for the final course of your final meal. We have Knefe Jibne. This is a soft, stretchy cheese topped with shredded pastry dough, a ton of sugar syrup, and then crushed pistachios. This is one of the world's greatest desserts, man. I'm so happy.
Yum.
And then we have the Armenian coffee from Kavat, your own coffee company, along with, if one coffee wasn't enough, we have the iced oat milk latte.
I'm going to drink both on camera.
This is the official pledge that I'm going to drink both these coffees with you. We're riding the lightning today. You're in the coffee business now. Tell me.
I am. We started Kavat Coffee in 2018, mostly as an online business, and then we just opened up the cafe a couple of months ago in Eagle Rock. I wanted to create, my first idea was to create organic Armenian coffee, because most Armenian coffees are not organic. And so that's what got us started. And then now we have a line of espressos and, mixed drinks and all of that. And you can find it at the cafe. And yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing.
It is fun, man. I've been to the cafe to try the Armenian coffee. One, if you don't think Serge's serious about coffee, he's got a guy, his name is George, and George is literally doing QC on the coffee to make sure that this is brewed properly. Shout out to George over there. But this is absolutely delicious. How is Armenian coffee different than like your standard American drip coffee?
It's the way it's prepared. I mean, first of all, you have to, it's very finely ground, and then you prepare it in a cauldron, in a pot. Over fire rather than through a machine, so there's no machine, and water first, and then some people add sugar second, and then coffee third, and depending on the volume of the cup, how many people are drinking, you make it accordingly. So you literally use your coffee cup to measure the water.
How funny.
And then they say that you're supposed to boil it over 3 times for it to really kind of bring out the taste and all of that. And of course the sediments settle on the bottom, so once you're done drinking and enjoying it, you're supposed to flip your cup around and let the sediments kind of create a mysterious world, a mythical world that you can kind of read. There are coffee cup readers,
I vowed to read your coffee fortune at the end if you read mine.
Okay, I'll do it.
We're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Or when's the first time you had a Knefe Jibne?
I can't remember. I must have been really young. But it's just an amazing, I mean, it is like so sugary. It's just like, it's going to make you happy immediately.
I've literally been salivating looking at this honey cheese pastry. It's just like...
It's just ridiculous. Wow.
The way that the psyllium makes the heavy heavier, man, the sweet makes the bitter more bitter. Bitter interplays with the sweet. This is a symphony right here.
It is.
This is it.
It is. It's like this balance.
I want to talk about finding truth through art that you can only sort of get through lived experience. When you were in Beirut, you were living through the Lebanese Civil War at the time. You're somebody that actually knows what it's like to be bombed. In your song Tentative, you strike this great juxtaposition between people talking about bombings in a very disaffected way, and then the very pointed question of, where are we supposed to go when the bombs fall?
I mean, in my case, I was really young. I was 7 years old. My brother was 4, and I remember crouching in our bedroom when the Lebanese Civil War started and the bombs were falling, and we couldn't go to school, and we were kind of, trapped inside the house, but we were still fine, But just hearing a bomb fall and like crouching, it is so random. It feels so random. And that is really, I mean, forget the fact that we were a child, even as an adult, that would be, you know, we get earthquakes here and it freaks us out, right? Earthquake is not a decision made by a human being, you know? Bombings are so, I mean, you know, we're seeing it now in Gaza, obviously, you know, with Israel and Palestine. And I can't imagine what those people are going through, the trauma that children are going through, you know? It's like what we've done to the planet is really messed up, you know? And it doesn't have to be this way. It's just the wrong priorities, profits over people generally, and land and, you know, religion. Just all of, you know, I wish we could go back 10,000 years and before we started agriculture and just tell everyone, keep on walking.
Yeah.
There's some elk around the corner, wherever you come from, don't worry about it, keep on walking, you know?
Yeah. There's a quote from Maximilian Weber, I believe it's 1918, that a state is only defined by its monopoly on violence. We saw, you know, in 2018, Armenia went through a velvet revolution, a decentralized civil disobedience where it was very, very strictly called for that, like, no violent act shall take place. Do you think that that is a valid tactic moving forward to actually affect change in the world, or do you simply think we're I believe is the term?
When the revolution happened and people, you know, I went to Armenia during the revolution, and then people were incredibly elated. Like, I mean, I've seen happy people. I've seen people partying, Rock in Rio, 120,000 people partying to heavy music. Yeah. That's happy, very happy. But elation is a different visual. When people are elated, their eyes are like full in a way that you can't describe as happy. It's way beyond. It's another level. And when I got back, when people were like, what did it feel like? Like, I mean, what are the technicalities of it? I said, well, imagine 30 million Americans protesting and shutting down DC. That's what it would be like. Yeah. You know, I mean, that's huge, right? Like as a percentage. And their technique, as you well described, was decentralized civil disobedience, which is a unique technique never used previously in revolutions. Which means instead of sitting in the square and having the police come and arrest you, you know, you block a street. When they come to arrest you, you run. You wait for them to leave, then you come and block the street again or block another street. It's like Benny Hill, right? Like, so in the end, they just give up because like you prove to them that the people are more powerful than any system that exists.
You mentioned that hopelessness is the worst thing that humanity can have. We seem like we're in a unique point of hopelessness in human history, whether it's justified or not. Where does hope lie for you in the future?
My kids, I guess. You know, I'm hopeful because of them, for them. Yeah, I mean, you know, at one point in my life, I didn't want to have kids. You know, and I told my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, and she's like, well, I do. You know, it's like, so that changed.
Simple, done and dusted.
Simple. Yeah. But I'm more than happy that I, you know, had a child and wanted more, I think. And it was that reason, though. It was that I think I was looking around and going, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing to this planet? What kind of life are my kids gonna live? Yeah. You know, in the last few weeks, we had, 114, 115 degrees Fahrenheit here in the valley or more. What gives you hope?
You know, I studied political science in college during the Arab Spring, and I used to have very hard and fast beliefs about politics. Yeah. And you mentioned I wrote about agriculture earlier, had hard and fast beliefs, and then I realized that all my beliefs were doing were pissing people off in a very, a non-productive way. And I found that I can be a lot more productive by telling other people's stories and making people happy. And I think the hope that I actually have is the tattoo that I have on my lower back that was responsible for raising 300,000 meals for underserved kids because our fans decided to donate $30,000 if I got a back tattoo.
That's amazing.
So I guess beautiful. That's my short answer. That's my lower back tattoo.
Look, you're making change, and it's great that. And it's what you first said as well. It's the small things, you know, opening a door, not honking at someone, even though you kind of want to, because they're doing the same thing you've done. They're a little longer on their phone or whatever. It's okay, you know. Like, you know how in the Bible they say at the end of times we will be judged as good or bad, right? Like this kind of division. I think that, to me, is either the understanding of everything is connected or not. Because if everything is connected, then I am you and you are me. And if everything is not, then we're separate.
Yeah.
That's good and bad.
So what do you think happens after you die, whether we are connected or whether we're not connected?
I've read a lot about near-death experiences.
Oh, wow.
I find that fascinating because it's actually empirical scientific proof of people that have, what do you call it, flatlined and come back.
Yeah.
And the stories that they tell, the kind of like a stairway to the sky or through a tunnel, and non-judgmental beings kind of arriving and showing them the way and giving them the option to either come back or reside. It definitely flips the whole Judeo-Christian thing of heaven and hell in a whole different way.
Sure.
And there's been thousands of these cases, a lot of different books written about them. I find them incredibly interesting. If anyone wants to know where you go, I mean, these are regular people that have died and come back. Now, there's explanations of certain neurons firing that may make you see certain things and stuff.
The dimethyltryptamine explosion, yeah.
Correct. Not everything can be explained away by these circumstances, so very interesting.
Are you afraid to die at all?
I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid to leave my children without a father.
Yeah. You ready to get into the lightning round?
Yeah.
We got to read each other's fortunes, though. Did you crush the coffee?
Oh.
Okay,
No, I
so we have the silt at the bottom. Drink.
Let's flip that.
Okay.
You're supposed to put it at an angle as well.
Uh-oh. Well, we said we'd finish these. We got to do it.
Yeah, we got to do it. Cheers.
Can we get the banana terracotta pie for the lightning round,
Terracotta
please?
pie. Hey, terracotta pie.
The more coffee you drink, the faster you're going to be able to
Oh
sing
my
it. At the end,
God,
it's just
I'm
gonna be a
so
blur.
gacked right now. The coffee, I'm like,
Brother, there's no going back.
wow, there is no going back. Wow.
One person, dead or alive, you want to share your actual last meal with.
Don't talk.
Yes,
That is too good. Oh my God. That's incredible.
Thank you. Nicole
Wow.
made it.
Nicole, good job. That's incredible. I'm taking this. No, I'm just kidding.
Take it. No, the terracotta
Man,
is yours, and so is the
Can't
banana
talk.
pie.
Sorry. Game over.
Keep eating, man. No, I'm here for you to ask you a question when you want to.
Sorry. What did you say?
Who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
My wife.
Yeah. What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
Ooh.
Or are you going to score your own funeral?
You guessed it. I think I am.
Who's your dream eulogizer?
Have you heard of the Georgian women that are paid to come to weddings that pull their hair and cry like crazy?
Yes, the professional grievers.
Yes.
Oh my God, get a whole group of them. What's your biggest fear?
Fear itself.
What's the hardest goodbye you've ever had to say?
I guess to my friends that have passed.
Yeah. Who's one artist that you would love to collaborate with that you haven't yet?
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. What's your greatest regret in life?
Selling my software company, Ultimate Solutions 1.
Do you wish you still had it?
I wish I still had it.
Never should have. It should have stayed in the software.
Never get out of software. Never get out of software.
I almost put software salesman in your bio, and I didn't.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
Finally, Serge, are you happy?
I am. Happiness is a choice. It's not something that happens to you, I've had a very difficult couple of weeks, very unsettled. You made me happy. This made me happy. I mean, it's a choice.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Serge, you have made me incredibly happy today. Truly, thank you for the awesome words, and thank you for sharing your stories, man, about life, family, terracotta pie.
This is incredible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Of course,
Thanks for having me.
deliver your last words to that camera right there.
My last word. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Of course. Oh, we got to read each other's fortunes real
Yes, let's do it. Is it settled? Mine's only one-sided, but I think you can make something of it.
quick.
Let's
Okay,
see.
take that. Oh, I see it. Yeah, no, it's the grooves right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. System of a Down releases 4 more albums in the 2030s. Oh my God. Is that? Oh no, that wasn't it.
I find your cup very interesting because unlike my cup where all of the sediments are on one side creating a mountain or whatever you want to come to, yours is everywhere. So when I spin it around like a carousel, you're thinking about many things. I see a father reading a book to a child. You want me to show you?
Actually, yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know if you can see it.
No, I actually do see it.
It's like sitting down reading a book. Could be a mother, but I thought father. Up to the sky. Everything's up to the sky. Like your intentions are clear.
I thought this was gonna be a silly bit, and now I feel bad that I didn't actually try on yours.
I mean, it is a silly bit. Dancing woman between two different poles.
Pole
I don't mean like
the pole
stripper
dancers.
poles,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah.
well,
I mean
saw what
like
I saw.
I mean like south and north.
I've been practicing actually. Great core strength. What an incredible experience, Serge. I cannot thank you enough. Everyone, make sure to check out Kava Coffee and check out Down with the System, a memoir of Surge. A memoir of Surge.
Of Surge.
A memoir of sorts. Really fantastic book that made such an impact on me, and I know y'all will love it.
Thank you so much, man. This was really incredibly fun. This was incredible. Thank you, all of you, who made all this food, and I'm like blown away. I'm like totally coffeeed out. I'm ready to run a marathon.
We got to finish this. This is not going undrank.
Cheers.
I'm so mad I didn't ask Serge about why eating seeds is a pastime activity for him, but what a special episode that was, along with all the other ones. I really hope y'all enjoyed. I hope you're not thinking about death too much right now, unless that's a very productive thing for you to do, then by all means, please do it. But thank you so much for sticking around with us this year. We got plenty more Last Meals and other Mythical Kitchen episodes coming into the future until we spiral into the entropic heat death of the universe. May it be far, far away. We'll see you next time. We all gotta eat, and we're all dying to see you in our Last Meals merch. We've got a tie-dye hoodie, a hat, and a tee, all available now at mythical.com.